Chapter 546. A Bet with a Kiss at One Glance. Gu Yuze was taken aback the second he saw the young man. Why does this young man look so familiar? He looks somewhat similar to Yi Wanwan at grandfather Ye's banquet the other time. But his mannerisms were completely opposite to hers. Furthermore, he was a guy. It was common for people to look alike, especially in showbiz as cosmetic surgeries were prevalent. Hence, Gu Yuze simply took another look, but didn't think much about it. It was just that this guy's appearance really made him recall the day Yi Wanwan called off their engagement at the banquet, and thus, Gu Yuze's expression turned darker. Businessmen were all very superstitious about luck and fortune. The Gu family especially hired a geomancy expert with an exorbitant price tag. They also repaired the temple and made donations every year. So when this person suddenly appeared and commented that his fortune wasn't looking so good, he obviously felt quite uncomfortable. When Yi Wanwan met Gu Yuze's dull gaze, a hint of a smile suddenly overflowed from her eyes. What, Chairman Gu, you don't believe me? Why don't I read your fortune for free right here, huh? Gu Yuze glanced coldly at him and turned his head back very quickly. He didn't bother with him at all and treated him like a little clown. Chi Meilin hurriedly said, Chairman Gu, don't stoop to his level. He looks like a cheater and even knows how to read fortunes, huh? Why don't you work at the temple instead? What are you doing here in the entertainment industry? Yi Wanwan shrugged and casually said, If you change your mind, Chairman Gu, you can look for me anytime. Chi Meilin was speechless and muttered a curse. Crazy. Yi turned and glanced at the young man. Her brows knitted slightly, but she didn't say anything. Everyone thought Yi Wanwan was merely cursing Gu Yuze and was trying to speak up for worldwide, so nobody took her words seriously. Seeing that these people were so mad that they kept quiet, Xiao Ku Xian flashed a brilliant smile and said, Little Mr. Fortune Teller, well done. If it wasn't for Han Xianyu, this light bulb between us, Jie would definitely give you a kiss. Yi Wanwan. Thank goodness Han Xianyu's between us. Han Xianyu was completely speechless as well. He said helplessly, Yi Bai, although what you said has eased the tension in the air for a while, wouldn't you have to slap yourself in the face if they really win both awards later? Yi Wanwan's eyes were as sparkly as the stars and a glow appeared on her face. What if I'm right? Han Xianyu was dazzled by the radiance in the young man's eyes. He roared in laughter and said, If you're right, that would be fantastic and I shall call you a psychic. Having said that, Han Xianyu seemed to have thought of something. He looked at Xiao Ke Xian first, then looked at Yi Bai, and his face turned slightly awkward. Yi Wanwan noticed the difference in Han Xianyu's expression and asked, What is it? Han Xianyu coughed lightly and looked down, then he moved closer to Yi Wanwan. Have you forgotten about the bet you made with Xian Jie that night when you were drunk? Ah, what bet? Yi Wanwan was confused. He really forgot about it. Han Xianyu held his forehead, feeling at a loss. That you said if you won, Xian Jie has to give you a kiss after she receives the Best Actress award. The second Han Xianyu said that Yi Wanwan's head went completely blank and she was dumbfounded. I actually did something so shameless when I was drunk. Chapter 547. I really wish to win an award by now. Yi Wanwan recalled she made a bet and Han Xianyu had told her about it, but she had been very busy lately and had completely forgotten about it. Shit, are you sure? Are you sure I made this bet with Xian Jie? Yi Wanwan still found it quite hard to believe. Han Xianyu nodded. Of course I'm sure. I remember it very clearly. When you made the bet, Xian Jie even blushed from your flirting. Yi Wanwan. Han Xianyu avoided Xiao Ke Xian and consoled Yi Bai softly. Anyway, the bet has already been made. Luckily, Xian Jie's chances of winning aren't too high. Saying her chances weren't high was sugarcoating it. Everyone thought it was completely impossible. No matter how popular the movie was, it was near impossible to get an award from a commercialized movie. Yi Wanwan's face darkened as she held her forehead and sobbed inside. Problem is, Xiao Ku Xian will actually win the award, alright. She wouldn't have been so sure at first, but after being reborn for so long, it was already proven that everything progressed the same way as in her previous life. I feel so tired. How can I go back on this bet? Who asked you to drink? Who asked you to drink? Why didn't you listen to baby? Hey, the two of you. What are you guys whispering about behind my back? Xiao Koexian asked, rather displeased. Cough, nothing much, nothing much. Han Xianyu hurriedly sat upright. Yi Wanwan immediately sat up as well. Even though her heart was in a mess, she could only hope that Xiao Koexian had forgotten about this bet. Xiao Koexian cupped her face and mumbled. Too bad. I actually really wanted to win the award so I can finally kiss my little fortune teller Ji one openly. Yi Wanwan wanted to die. When Han Xianyu heard Xiao Koexian being increasingly affectionate towards Yi Bai, his head was filled with black lines. You're older than him. Is it really appropriate for you to call him Ji? And on that sorrowful note, the award ceremony officially began. On stage, two hosts were enthusiastically giving the opening speech followed by an opening performance. After that, the big screen quickly showed the list of nominated films for the night. Alright, now is the moment everyone's been waiting for, the award presentation. Tonight, the first award we'll be presenting is the Best Edited Film Award. Every year, the sequence of awards changed, and they were basically arranged based on the degree of competitiveness and influence of the award. Other than the award for Best Movie that was always at the end, the sequence of awards for Best Director, Best Actor and Actress were all adjusted by the host according to the situation to create maximum suspense. For instance, this time the catfight for Best Actress was the most intense, so it was going to be presented right before the Best Movie Award, making it the second-to-last award to be revealed. The first few awards presented were minor and unimportant ones, so Han Xianyu took the opportunity to chat. Oh right, Yi Bai. How did you manage to make your predictions before? I heard you mention that the Best Newcomer would be Zhao Mingjia, Best Supporting Actress would be Lin Jiayin, Best Supporting Actor would be Meng Liangyu and the Best Actor would be Li Zhongyi? I didn't remember wrong, right? Yi Wanwan was speechless. I actually listed out all the important awards. Xiao Koexian was all smiles as she leaned over and added. There's also me, the Best Actress. Yi Wanwan. Please just leave me alone. Next award we're presenting is Best Newcomer. The newcomers this year are very impressive, so it was really hard to decide the winner. I wonder who it will be? Let's wait and see. At this moment, the ceremony reached a small climax as they prepared to announce the recipient of the Best Newcomer Award. Chapter 548. I really want to work under you on the large screen. The nominees for the Best Newcomer Award were shown. Li Yi, Elixir of Love. Jiang Xin Yi, 101 Nights. Zhao Mingjia, Spring Feast. Gong Su, Love Will Never Come. The host sugar-coated his words. He mentioned how impressive they were and how fierce the competition was. But the truth was that various major production corporations churned out many newbies, resulting in the acting skills of these newbies to be mediocre. It was like picking from a bunch of weaklings. Even Gong Su was a nominee, so it was obvious how pathetic this award was. Zhao Mingjia was an artist under Zhou Wenbin before, and through his connection with a sponsor, he hired a famous director at a high price to film an artistic film just for the sake of getting an award. The Best Newcomer Award goes to the lead actor of Spring Feast, Zhao Mingjia. Congratulations! The host finally announced the winner. Everyone started clapping instinctively. Xiao Koexian beamed. Congrats little fortune teller Ji, you got one right. Yi Wanwan coughed lightly. This wasn't really that hard to guess. In the row in front of them, Han Xianyu Yi and the others saw that someone from worldwide received this award, but they didn't react much to it. It was merely the Best Newcomer Award. They didn't really care for it. Qi Meilin sneered loud enough so that the people in the row behind could hear. It's just the Best Newcomer Award, what's there to celebrate? Who doesn't know that the Best Newcomer Award this time is horrendous? Even Gong Su's name is up there. Hearing Gong Su's name once again, Yi Wanwan sighed. Almost everyone used the phrase, even Gong Su's name is up there, to belittle the award, so it was pretty clear how tarnished that boy's reputation was. Hence, Yi Wanwan hadn't allowed Gong Su to come to the awards on purpose. Otherwise, that'd be another mess she had to clean up. Although Gong Su was still being ridiculed while not present, at least the impact wouldn't be as large. Now that this troublesome guy was in her hands, it would be a long, arduous journey to wash his name clean, so she could only do it slowly. Han Xianyu understood how Yi Wanwan felt, so he patted her shoulders in consolation. My condolences. Han Xianyu paused before saying, but I was really quite surprised you actually took Gong Su on. Even though the news about Gong Su being transferred over to Yi Bai hadn't been made public yet, Han Xianyu was from Worldwide and obviously knew about this. When he found out, he was quite shocked. He really didn't know whether to congratulate or pity Yi Bai. Yi Wanwan smiled bitterly. Gong Su is still considered a popular A-lister now. And you know I don't have that many artists working with me now, so I can only groom him slowly. Han Xianyu obviously knew that grooming Gong Su wasn't an easy task. He smiled. Actually, I really want to work under you. Yi Wanwan looked at Han Xianyu in surprise. This didn't seem like Han Xianyu's first time saying it, so she smiled as well. As if, you're Worldwide's money tree. How could you work under me? Han Xianyu focused on the young man. Then you have to work harder and try to take me under your wing someday. Yi Wanwan knew he was joking, so she nodded. All right. I'll definitely put in more effort for little Angel Xianyu. My career goal is to have little Angel Xianyu under me. Han Xianyu stared at the young man's smile. I'm looking forward to that. Chapter 549. Got it right again. After the Best Newcomer Award were 2 minor awards followed by the Best Supporting Actor Award. The list of nominees for this award were all very strong, and it wasn't so easy to guess the winner. Worldwide's Tang Xinghua and Emperor Sky's Meng Liangyu were the more popular contenders. Yi Wanwan didn't want to put Worldwide down, but Meng Liangyu was certainly well prepared and had surpassed his competitors as a supporting actor. One nominee who was up against Meng Liangyu was a rookie. Worldwide was grooming and pushing out. Meng Liangyu was an oldie at Emperor Sky when his father was still around, but once his father left, his popularity seemed to drop. This award could probably improve his popularity a little. Han Xianyu mumbled, Best Supporting Actor. This is a hard one to guess. Yi Bai, are you sure it'll be Meng Liangyu? Tang Xinghua's performance wasn't bad either. Yi Wanwan replied with a straight face. It's indeed hard to guess, Xiao Ke said. I think Tang's chances of winning are higher. Previously at the banquet, I met some of the members of the judging panel, and they had many good things to say about Tang. The 3 of them were speculating. After the host said a bunch of nonsense, he finally announced the winner. The Best Supporting Actor Award goes to the supporting actor Meng Liangyu from the movie Red Lotus. Congratulations. The hall resounded with applause and the camera turned in Meng Liangyu's direction. Everyone from Emperor Sky stood up and hugged Meng Liangyu to congratulate him. Although Emperor Sky really wished another actor they were grooming would get the award, at least Meng Liangyu was also from Emperor Sky. A few rows behind, Tang Xinghua shrugged nonchalantly. Tang Xinghua hung out with Gong Su and the gang very often, and was also a well-known member of the class of wealthy second-generation kids. Although he acted better than Gong Su, he probably didn't really care for awards. Xiao Kuxian chirped. A little fortune teller GG, you got it right again Yi Wanwan forced a smile and didn't say anything. Yes, I got it right again. I'll get all of them right, okay? On stage, Meng Liangyu was giving an emotional thank you speech. Just like other artists, after he thanked the audience, director, company, Meng Liangyu added, Finally, I would also like to thank my talent scout. Because of his appreciation and support, I'm able to be here today. Outsiders might have thought Meng Liangyu was referring to Yi Shaoan, but insiders would know that Meng Liangyu was scouted and groomed by Yi Xiaoting. Yi Wanwan felt quite moved when she heard Meng Liangyu's speech. Her father had great foresight and to this day, Meng Liangyu still remembered her father. He didn't even care that what he said might offend the higher-ups. As expected, Yi Yi and Gu Yuzhe's faces turned ugly when they heard Meng Liangyu. As an outsider, even Han Xianyu couldn't help but sigh. This Meng Liangyu is a real man. The following awards were the Best Sound Effects and Best Documentary. Then the third little climax arrived, Best Supporting Actress. This award was really difficult to guess. The catfight for this award was almost as intense as the Best Actress award. The audience and judging panel had a huge quarrel over it, and all the fans of various actresses were also in turmoil. Even Yi Yi and Gu Yuzhe's expressions became more solemn as they stared at the big screen. Xiao Kuxian tapped her chin and commented, The nominees for the Best Supporting Actress award are quite strong. They're pretty evenly matched. Han Xianyu chimed in. Indeed, I think even the judging panel was in a sticky spot. Chapter 550. Too lucky. Everyone was discussing and awaiting the outcome anxiously, while Yi Wanwan sneakily let out a yawn and looked somewhat bored. This feeling of knowing things before it happened was exactly like knowing the identity of the murderer in a thriller. Life is really boring. As expected, the host wanted to create more suspense, so after spouting a whole bunch of nonsense, he finally revealed the recipient's name. Congratulations, Miss Lin Jiaoyin. After the announcement of the Best Supporting Actress, Han Xianyu and Xiao Coexian were stunned and turned their heads to Yi Wanwan at the same time. Han Xianyu raised his brows. Got 3 of them right in a row. After going through a long and slow list of small awards, the ceremony finally reached the most anticipated awards, Best Actor and Actress. The most exciting moment has arrived. The next award we'll be presenting is tonight's recipient of Best Actor. Yi Wanwan nearly fell asleep even when the host was speaking with such enthusiasm. Are you very sleepy? Han Xianyu asked, noticing Yi Wanwan's lack of interest. Yi Wanwan shrugged. I already predicted the answer, so obviously I'm pretty bored. You. Han Xianyu treated it as a joke and shook his head helplessly. However, the second Yi Wanwan replied to him, the host was finally done with his climactic speech and announced the recipient of the Best Actor award. Tonight, Golden Orchid's Best Actor award goes to Mountains and Rivers, Li Zhongyi. The hall was filled with thunderous applause. Han Xianyu couldn't help but exclaim, You're too lucky. You managed to get 4 out of 5 big awards right. That's right. And I'll be getting the 5th one right as well. The most highly anticipated award of the Golden Orchid Award ceremony tonight. Xiao Coexian laughed. Even I'm getting a little eager now. Will I really be the best actress? When Qi Meilin overheard the conversation between the 3 people behind her, she muttered in a mocking way. Tisk, some people have really thick skin, huh? Xiao Coexian, rather than believing this liar, why don't you believe the opinions of numerous netizens? You're the NO. One artist on the list of artists who will never receive the Best Actress award. Qi Meilin's name was nominated this time as well, and the chances of her winning weren't low. She and Xiao Coexian had a similar acting trajectory and were in rival companies, so they were constantly battling each other. So Qi Meilin obviously wanted to take this chance to step all over Xiao Coexian. Unlike Xiao Coexian's tarnished reputation, Qi Meilin's was much better, and she was known for keeping her hands clean in the entertainment industry and being a good example of a goddess. Each time Qi Meilin's team sent out a press release, they would make sure to compare her to Xiao Coexian and trample on Xiao Coexian. However, in reality, the one who had always been diligent and studied meticulously to improve her acting skills was Xiao Coexian, who the public had blackened until there were no clean spots on her. On the other hand, their goddess, Qi Meilin, had a private life that was unbearable to even think about. Xiao Coexian retorted. Mind your own business. Why do you care who I believe? He's a liar. When Yi Wanwan heard that, she muttered something to herself, then said, This liar's gotta give a word of advice to Miss Qi. Keep walking in the dark and you'll definitely bump into a ghost someday. Too bad, I just predicted that tonight, after the Golden Orchid Award ceremony, Miss Qi will meet a disastrous calamity. Maybe I can sell you a method to break the curse at a 5% discount. Qi Meilin burst out laughing. What a joke. I've been in the entertainment industry for such a long time, and this is the first time I've met an idiot like yourself. Is Worldwide so desperate that they're recruiting people like you? When Qi Meilin was almost done with her mocking, Yi finally spoke up and pretended to be a good guy. That's enough, Meilin. Seeing that Yi had spoken up, Qi Meilin then shut her trap and turned back. Talking to people like you guys lowers my status. Chapter 551, Grandmaster's Standards. You're just scaring her? Han Xianyu asked. Yi Wanwan raised her brows. What do you think? Although Han Xianyu didn't say anything, he obviously thought Yi Wanwan was simply scaring her. After a song and dance performance in the middle of the ceremony, it was finally time for the Best Actress award. Several of the nominated films were shown in the slides. Fang Min, A letter from Paris. Chi Mei Lin. My mother. Shenro. Deep in the palace. Xiao Ko Xian, legend of the quiet girl. The male and female hosts were echoing one another. Man. Oh goodness. This is too exciting. Who will the best actress be this time? Woman. Cut the suspense and announce it right now. We can't wait any longer. Man. Why don't you give it a guess? Woman. This is too hard to guess. I really can't do it. Can you give us a hint? The two hosts kept going on and didn't reveal who it was, causing the audience to be so anxious that they stretched their necks in anticipation. But it was evident that this was the effect the organizers wanted. The big screen on stage was divided into 4 sections, and live reactions of the 4 nominees were on the screen for everyone to see. As they were almost done setting the stage, the male host finally relented. Alright, since it's a request from a beauty, I'll give you a little hint. The recipient's name has 3 syllables. The female host immediately exclaimed, Wow, that's a big hint. Does that mean the winner is either Chi Mei Lin or Xiao Ko Xian, huh? Following the host's words, there was an uproar in the audience and everyone turned in the direction of Xiao Ko Xian and Chi Mei Lin. This hint wasn't only big. It was directly announcing the winner, right? Xiao Ko Xian's face darkened. No matter who the winner was, she just didn't want Chi Mei Lin, her archenemy, to win. But now that the outcome was confirmed, she knew without thinking that Chi Mei Lin would definitely ridicule her after the award recipient was announced. As for Chi Mei Lin, Yi Yi, Gu Yuze, and the other artists from Emperor Sky Entertainment seated in front, there were wide smiles across their faces and Chi Mei Lin almost couldn't conceal the excitement inside. The artists seating next to her even started to congratulate her. Lin Jiayin smiled and said, Lin Jie, congratulations. Chi Mei Lin glanced behind her then purposefully said out loud, Don't congratulate me yet. The result isn't out yet. Maybe the best actress will be Xiao Ko Xian, huh? As the cameras were on them right now, Xiao Ko Xian didn't bother fighting with her at this moment, and could only suppress the anger in her heart. From the moment she debuted, nobody appreciated the effort and hard work she put in. People only knew how to insult her, and she was even starting to wonder whether all the effort she put in was worth it. Han Xianyu looked somewhat awkward as he smiled bitterly. Didn't think that Emperor Sky Entertainment would clinch both awards. Yuanwan was annoyed. Hey, don't you guys have any trust in the Grandmaster's skills at all? Xiao Ko Xian knew Yuanwan was simply trying to cheer her up, but that really couldn't alleviate her frustration at the moment. Maybe she shouldn't have had any ridiculous hopes of becoming a successful actress and building a career from the beginning. Maybe she should just continue being a flower vase, continuing to strive to make money. Alright, enough with the suspense. If we go on, you guys will probably start throwing eggs at us. Next, let's welcome our previous best actress, Chiu Yu Great Beauty Chiu, to reveal the answer. Actually, the hint from the host just now was already equivalent to announcing the result, and everyone was no longer so anxious anymore. Chiu Yu stood in front of the microphone and opened the envelope in her hands. In the next second, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. She paused for a moment before continuing. The 46th Golden Orchids Best Actress Award goes to, following Chiu Yu's announcement. Chi Mei Lin responded to everyone's congratulatory wishes while she pushed aside the hair on her forehead and stood up slowly. Best Actress Award goes to Legend of the Quiet Girl. Xiao Ko Xian. Chapter 552. Why don't we honor the bet now? Following Chiu Yu's voice, the entire hall was filled with a strange silence. Everyone thought they heard wrong. What was the name Chiu Yu announced? Xiao Ko Xian? Not Chi Mei Lin but Xiao Ko Xian. How could that be? Chi Mei Lin's face was drained of all color as she stood there frozen. Her delighted eyes were instantly filled with disbelief. And the person who was in even more shock than Chi Mei Lin was Xiao Ko Xian herself. Xiao Ko Xian, who was like an unmoving mountain even when she was criticized by thousands, revealed a confused and shocked expression. Xianjia. Xianjia. Xiao Ko Xian only returned to her senses after Han Xianyu called her name. Her first reaction was to look at Yi Bai next to Han Xianyu. All his predictions came true. When her eyes met his bright yet resolute eyes, her heart thumped uncontrollably for a second. Why didn't I notice that when Yi Bai mentioned that I would win the Best Actress award, he didn't look like he was joking at all. He really thought I would win this award. At this moment, the silent hall suddenly exploded in noise and thunderous applause. The production team behind Legend of the Quiet Girl and many worldwide artists stepped forward to hug and congratulate Xiao Koexien excitedly. Lin Jiayin had to pull Qi Meilin back before she reacted. She sat down with a stiff expression, but the camera had already recorded her standing up prematurely. The Golden Orchid Awards for the Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Actor all landed in Emperor Sky Entertainment's hands. If they had gotten the award for Best Actress as well, Worldwide would have their pride thrown on the floor for merely winning the Best Newcomer award. Nobody expected that such a big twist would happen at the last moment. An unexpected winner emerged, and the Best Actress was actually Xiao Koexien from Worldwide Entertainment, causing everyone to be taken aback. A tinge of embarrassment appeared on Yi Yi's gentle and calm little face, but she still smiled and clapped, acting gracious while Gu Yuzhe's face was completely black. After all, he sounded so confident when the host interviewed him earlier, yet now he was actually being slapped in the face in front of everyone. All the applause, congratulatory wishes, hugs, the feeling of ascending to heaven from hell, and the feeling of receiving a new lease on life so suddenly jolted Xiao Koexien's mind. In the next second, she passed Han Xianyu and pulled the man next to him in a tight embrace, then mumbled softly in his ear, "Thank you, little fortune teller GG." Yi Wanwan was stunned, then hugged her back in good taste. "Xianjie, congratulations. You don't have to thank me, it has nothing to do with me. You worked hard for it." Xiao Koexien calmed down, then suddenly blinked and said, "Whatever it was, I won. I'm a person of my word, so why don't we honor our bet right now?" Yi Wanwan was dumbfounded. Huh. Han Xianyu quickly pretended to hug Xiao Koexien to congratulate her, and held her back, then reminded her softly in her ear, "Stop messing around, Xianjie. There are so many people watching." But according to Xiao Koexien's character, kissing Yi Bai in front of everyone was something she would really do. At the same time, the host excitedly exclaimed on stage, "Congratulations, Koexien. Let's invite Golden Orchid's Best Actress up on stage to receive her award." Xiao Koexien could only pout regretfully. "All right, I'll go up there first." Sure, Xianjie, go on." Yi Wanwan wiped the sweat off her forehead. Xiao Koexien's just too open-minded. She's probably the only one in the entertainment industry who isn't afraid of scandals at all. Chapter 553. I'm afraid you'll die before I do. Xiao Koexien walked up on stage in a red evening gown, radiating a glow from inside. The host quickly allowed Xiao Koexien to give her speech according to the program. This outcome is truly surprising. Koexien, sorry for saying this, but you also knew that among all the nominees, you didn't have a very high chance of winning. Do you have anything to say about winning the award this time? Xiao Koexien's gaze swept across the audience. She took a deep breath and said, "I'm also really surprised with this outcome. Truth be told, just a few seconds ago, I was struggling inside. I was wondering whether I should simply give up. Anyway, I'm not normally recognized for anything I do, as if the insults I receive are the truth." To the public, Xiao Koexien seemed to shrug off all the insults, but truthfully, she disliked being dismissed by everyone. After all, everybody likes to receive compliments and recognition. Xiao Koexien revealed a hint of bitter helplessness and continued, "Everybody knows that in this industry, words can muddle the truth and determine the life or death of an artist. I thought that since being insulted was also a form of publicity, I'd just continue earning my money. Why bother improving my acting skills, and why should I prove myself?" Xiao Koexien's speech made everyone go silent. They all knew she was right, but in the entertainment industry, only Xiao Koexien would dare to say something like this in public. Xiao Koexien continued, and her eyes seemed slightly emotional. "So I'm very grateful that there's an award like the Golden Orchid that isn't influenced by public opinion and external factors, giving me a chance to prove myself. At the same time, I also sincerely hope that everyone will take a look at this work from an objective perspective, and see who I really am. When Xiao Kuxian said her piece, she received a burst of applause and approval. Han Xianyu also heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully, Xiao Kuxian managed to be tactful with her words, and even concluded it pretty well. Yi Wanwan knew that in her previous life, this speech actually pulled a terrifying amount of box office interest for Legend of the Quiet Girl, and broke the box office record for that year. Next, Xiao Kuxian followed the norm and thanked her fans, crew, company, and sponsors. Finally, she paused. Her eyes glanced below the stage and said, "In addition, I would like to especially give thanks to a friend." Before coming up on stage, almost everyone around me was consoling me, telling me that it was fine that I didn't win, but there was only one person who told me from the start that I would definitely be the Golden Orchid's best actress. He let me know that among hundreds and thousands of people, there's at least one person who still believes in me. Having heard what Xiao Kuxian said, Chi Meilin almost couldn't maintain her composure in front of the camera anymore. Darn it. That swindler actually got it right. Doesn't matter who gets the Best Actress award, but it shouldn't be Xiao Kuxian. Very soon, the award ceremony came to an end. Yi stood up and said to Xiao Kuxian naturally, "Kuxian, congratulations. You earned it." TSK, the people from Emperor Sky think I earned it? What hypocrites. Xiao Kuxian smiled. Why do I recall a certain someone from your company saying that I'm the one artist who will never receive an award? Chi Meilin was so angry that her overly done face was almost twisted. Xiao Kuxian, I suggest you keep that gloating face of yours. I'll watch how you're going to die getting roasted for winning the Golden Orchid Best Actress award with that lousy acting. Xiao Kuxian chuckled and mumbled, I'm afraid you'll die before I do. My highly skilled little fortune teller GG just read your fortune, and once the award ceremony ends, you'll meet a disastrous tragedy, ha. Chapter 554. Lost all standing and reputation. Xiao Kuxian blinked and held Yi Wanwan back by the wrist. Little GG, am I right? Yi Wanwan didn't want to embarrass Xiao Kuxian in front of everyone, so she coughed lightly and replied, In her previous life, she read about the Golden Orchid Award ceremony online, and remembered very clearly that shortly after she was done reading, the website was updated with Chi Meilin's scandal about her organizing a sex party, and even gathering people to take drugs together. With such a serious scandal, it completely crushed the inspirational and perfect goddess image Chi Meilin created for her fans. Overhearing the conversation between these two people, Chi Meilin gave a disdainful look and seemed completely fearless. Xiao Kuxian, you're really amazing. An old cow eating fresh grass. 1. Messing around with these young gigolos at your age. Even better. Now you've been brainwashed, right? Tragedy? I really want to see what kind of tragedy I'll encounter. Even if she didn't get the Best Actress award, she was still influential. Furthermore, she had a big backing like Yi Group. Was there anything she couldn't handle? Gu Yuze straightened his lapels, stood up loftily and looked coldly in Yi Wanwan's direction. I won't burden this gentleman here with artists from my company. In retrospect, Yi Wanwan felt so foolish that she wanted to kill herself when she recalled the time she was so madly in love with Gu Yuze, but it was etched in her memory after all. Each time she saw Gu Yuze, the anger in her body was still uncontrollable. Faced with Gu Yuze's arrogant expression, Yi Wanwan smiled and said casually, Chairman Gu, you're too polite. It will never be my turn to be burdened with Chairman Gu around. Emperor Sky is such a big shot that it's fine even if you lose 1 or 2 artists. The way Yi Wanwan smiled was even more similar to her expression the day she ridiculed him, causing Gu Yuze's mood to darken further. He was about to speak, but his phone started ringing with endless notifications, disrupting his train of thought. Gu Yuze suppressed the fury in his heart and opened those messages. In the end, he seemed to have read something on his phone as his face instantly changed like a storm was approaching. He shot daggers at Chi Meilin. Yuze, what is it? Yi asked worriedly. Chi Meilin probed carefully as well. Chairman Gu, did something happen? The way Gu Yuze glared at her with such iciness and gloominess gave her an inexplicable sense of unease. It couldn't be that all those things were leaked, right? It can't be. I was so careful and secretive each time. However, in the next second, the furious Gu Yuzhe threw his phone directly at Qi Meilin's face. Qi Meilin cried out in pain, then picked the phone up, trembling. When she saw the first photo on the phone, Qi Meilin's face turned aghast. It was actually a disgusting photo of her with a bunch of guys. However, this was only the beginning. There were even clearer images taken of her abusing drugs. Qi Meilin's delicate face was completely pale. She panicked and her fingers started shaking. Chairman Gu, please save me. Director Yi, save me. Almost at the same time Qi Meilin pleaded for help, alarmed gasps resounded around them. Oh damn. Quick look. Big news. The person in the photo is the goddess worshipped by many fans, Qi Meilin. Orgy party and taking drugs. This is explosive. Chapter 555. Amazing little Ji Qiao Ko Xian and Han Xianyu looked at each other in confusion. What happened? The two of them and the surrounding people who hadn't gotten a clue what was going on quickly whipped out their phones and checked. After they found out what happened, their faces were in astonishment as well. Yi Wanwan stood there quietly without any expression. Qi Meilin pleaded like an insane woman. Director Yi, quickly get someone to delete those pics. Yi's face was gloomy. It's too late. These things spread too rapidly, and since everyone's attention was currently on the Golden Orchid Award ceremony, Qi Meilin's scandal exploded instantly once the ceremony was over. As expected, she saw that Qi Meilin's orgy party, Qi Meilin on drugs and many other keywords were increasing in popularity once she opened various popular websites and blogs. What was worse was that Qi Meilin wasn't the only one at that party. There were also a number of artists from Emperor Sky present, and now the commenters gradually questioned whether all of Emperor Sky Entertainment was an obscene drug den. Everybody in the ballroom slowly found out about this gossip, and whispered to one another as they looked in Qi Meilin's direction. I always thought Xiao Ku Xian was the one who had a messy personal life, and really didn't expect that after Xiao Ku Xian received the Golden Orchid Best Actress Award, it would be Qi Meilin who's so messed up. What's so surprising about that? It's like that in the entertainment industry. You can't really differentiate between what's real or fake. You're too naive to believe in whatever you see on the surface. There were already scandals about Qi Meilin's wild side before, alright? I heard that the senior management of Emperor Sky already warned her not to go overboard, and gave quite a sum of money to PR so nothing major happened in the past. Too bad she wants to court death, huh? It's definitely over for her this time. Emperor Sky's money went down the drain, and she even dragged a group of artists down with her. Ever since the change of management in Yi Group, things have really become messy. Qi Meilin felt those prickly gazes were like thorns of fire. When she thought about how her status in the industry would be destroyed, her face was filled with fear. Chairman Gu, Director Yi, you guys have to help me. Quickly, get PR to delete all those pics. Delete them. Shut up. Gu Yuzhe berated her coldly. With a scandal like this, PR would be no use. The news spread already. Anybody could store the pictures privately, so there was no point in trying to delete them. Mixing with bad company already ruined her image and reputation. But taking drugs would be enough to wreck any artist's career in the industry. It was completely over for Qi Meilin. They spent so much resources and energy on her, but everything was wasted now. Not only that, but they still had to pay large sums to various major endorsement and advertising companies. When Yi heard someone saying, ever since the change of management in the Yi Group, things have really become messy. Fury burned within her as it hit her right in her sore spot. She chided softly, alright, stop talking about it here. Let's get out already. Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? The group of people avoided the crowd and swarm of reporters as they hurriedly left the ballroom. Before they left, Gu Yuzhe's dark and icy gaze paused on Yi Wanwan for a split second. Yi Wanwan returned a smile in a casual and relaxed manner, feeling extremely satisfied for her successful provocation. Gu Yuzhe's eyes constricted abruptly. He wasn't sure why, but this man gave him a very bad feeling. It was as if he'd seen a ghost. Everything that shouldn't have happened actually happened according to this man's predictions. making him feel even more troubled when he recalled what this man said earlier on that his fortune might not be that prosperous. As for Qiao Kuxian and Han Xianyu, they witnessed once again how Yi Wanwan's predictions came true and were in a daze. That worked? You're amazing, little Gigi. Don't tell me. You really know how to read people's fortunes? Chapter 556. I'm into the domineering type. Oh yes, Yi Bai, why don't you read my fortune too? As the saying goes, those on the waterfront pavilion get the moonlight first. 1. I've known you for quite some time but haven't gotten you to read my fortune yet. I feel a little left out. Han Xianyu suddenly recalled. Yi Wanwan turned to Han Xianyu helplessly. Your future's obviously as bright as the sun. What's there to read? You can predict my marriage. Or when I will have peach blossom luck. When Yi Wanwan heard his question, she lowered her eyes and thought deeply. Marriage. How will it be? Han Xianyu looked somewhat nervous. Yi Wanwan rubbed her chin and thought for a long while. You don't seem to have any. Han Xianyu was stunned. What? Nobody. Am I going to be alone for life? Yi Wanwan quickly said, cough, no, what I meant was sorry. I don't think I can calculate this for you. She might have some memory of the love life of more famous artists in the entertainment industry, but the problem was that she already changed the path of Han Xianyu's life. Hence, she had no idea what Han Xianyu's future would be like. Why can't you calculate it? Han Xianyu knitted his brows. Yi Wanwan didn't have any way of explaining herself and could only say, this thing is very deep. You wouldn't get it even if I told you. Anyway, there are some people who are more special, so I can't really read their fortunes. Han Xianyu looked a little confused. Special. Qiao Kuxian hurriedly leaned over and probed. What about me? Xianjia, your peach blossom luck has always been flourishing. Surely, you don't need me to calculate it for you, right? Yi Wanwan said. That's true. Qiao Kuxian spoke while she turned and took a quick glimpse at the little peach blossom next to her. She didn't expect that after so long, she would finally fancy a little Gigi who truly satiated her appetite, but he already had a girlfriend, so she felt quite regretful. Oh right, I'll be having a celebration party tonight. Xiaobai, are you coming? Qiao Kuxian asked. It's a treat from Xianjia. Obviously, it'd be rude to decline, but I have to call my girlfriend and tell her first, Yi Wanwan said. Qiao Kuxian raised her brows slightly. It's just a gathering. Do you really need to report that? Han Xianyu tried to explain. Xianjia, or Xiaobai's girlfriend, is quite strict. Qiao Kuxian looked shocked and seemed quite taken aback. I couldn't tell that Xiaobai would be afraid of his girlfriend. After all, he was quite forward and flirtatious that night, taking on both men and women. Han Xianyu laughed and teased. Actually, I was quite surprised when I found out too. Yi Wanwan thought to herself. That's right, I'm henpecked. So what? Qiao Kuxian mumbled. I thought you would prefer cute and helpless-looking girls. Yi Wanwan chuckled. Nah, I'm into the domineering type. Time flew by. Qi Meilin's scandal continued to spread and finally, Emperor Sky could only give up on her and announce they'd be shutting her out. As for Qiao Kuxian, due to her speech during the Golden Orchid Award ceremony, the box office interest in The Legend of the Quiet Girl soared once again and broke numerous records. In addition, many people compared her to Qi Meilin. After being insulted and having her reputation tarnished for so many years, public opinion started to move towards a more positive perception of her. As for Yi Wanwan, she was occupied almost every day. Aside from working and learning, she spent most of her time training 11 and the others. The head captain assessment would be taking place in just a few days' time, and assuming the post of a master all of a sudden made her quite stressed out. Chapter 557. Glow of a Firefly Sea Residence Bodyguard Meeting Room. Luing was dressed in a full black outfit, and he sat on the main seat with a rigid and stern face. There were over 10 people seated in the meeting room. They were the leaders of various dark teams in the Sea family. Captain Luing, the assessment will be starting in a few days' time. You must teach that proud guy a good lesson, a certain buff leader said. Tisk. Luing made himself comfortable and narrowed his eyes. Junior, just call me Luing. The head captain is 11. Captain, what are you even talking about? 11's not even good enough to be the leader of Dark Team 1. How could he fight for your post? He's delusional. Junior sneered. He was the leader of Dark Team 3. Someone next to him said, I heard 11 has been training very hard and rarely comes out. He's probably preparing for this assessment. Another person chuckled. No matter how hard he trains, he'll still be a tick in Captain Lu Ying's eyes. What can he do? Alright, let me tell you guys something. The leader of Dark Team 3 laughed. I heard that 11 begged Yi Wanwan to be his master, and asked her to teach him some martial arts skills. Are you guys scared now? Following what Junior said, peals of laughter instantly the entire meeting room. 11's a dumbass. If Captain Luing didn't restrain himself for master's sake, Yi Wanwan would have been beaten to a pulp. As if she would have a chance to reveal her power at the bar. When that incident at the bar was brought up, a tinge of gloominess appeared in Lu Ying's eyes. That woman was all brute force and her skills were mediocre. I just can't understand why Master, who has always been wise, would be so taken by this flower vase to the point of losing his sanity. How could this woman be compared to Miss Qin Ruoxi? Captain Luing, 11 probably wanted to curry favor with Yi Wanwan and get her to sing praises about him in front of Master. By then, if Master relents, and really lets 11. A certain leader frowned. They were the C family's bodyguards, so how could they allow a silly woman to throw them into disorder? Tisk. The corners of Lu Ying's lips lifted upwards and revealed a sinister smile. His eyes were extremely terrifying. Yi Wanwan is simply Master's toy. Miss Ruoxi alone by Master's side is enough for him. Yi Wanwan just has the glow of a firefly. How can she compete with the moon? He didn't believe that his master would actually disrupt the entire head captain assessment for a woman like her. That's true. 11 asked Yi Wanwan to train him, probably viewing her as his life raft. He probably thinks Yi Wanwan has some martial arts skills he can learn to fight with our captain. The leader of Dark Team 3 laughed. Luing sneered. He had never cared about 11 or Yi Wanwan. Master almost lost his sanity because of a woman, that Yi Wanwan. What qualities or abilities does she have that makes her qualified to enter the C family and become the mistress of the household? She's the future mistress of the C family after all. You guys better be more careful, one of the leaders advised. Luing adjusted his position, and his gaze swept across everyone. The future mistress of the household can only be Miss Qin Ruoxi. What Captain Luing is saying is, who on earth is Yi Wanwan and how can she compare to Miss Qin Ruoxi? Based on Miss Ruoxi's family background and personal abilities, that Yi Wanwan definitely can't compete with her. Chapter 558. He must have his reasons. While they were speaking, the door of the meeting room was pushed open lightly. Miss Ruoxi. Upon seeing her appearance, all the leaders quickly greeted her. Luing stood up immediately. Miss Ruoxi, please take a seat. No need. Ruoxi smiled. How can I simply sit here? It's meant for the chairman. Qin Ruoxi spoke and sat down next to Luing. A grim-looking man followed behind Qin Ruoxi. He was a close confidant of Luing named Yuan Sheng, a member of the bodyguard team. Recently, Yuan Sheng had been training alongside Qin Ruoxi. Qin Ruoxi and Luing were currently planning to get Yuan Sheng to compete to become the leader of Dark Team 1, kicking 11 out completely. Yuan Sheng, how's your training with Miss Ruoxi? Luing looked at the grave and stern-looking man. Head captain Miss Ruoxi's highly skilled and very effective in her teaching. For this fight, you don't need to trouble yourself, Captain. I'm able to finish 11 off myself. The grim-looking man replied, then turned to Qin Ruoxi. His face was completely filled with admiration. Due to Lu Ying's influence, these people also treated Qin Ruoxi as the future mistress of the C family. Luing, don't be discouraged either. Ajio only got 11 to replace you temporarily in a moment of madness as a little punishment for you. Don't make such mistakes again next time. After the assessment, the post of head captain will belong to you again. Qin Ruoxi looked at Luing and assured him. Hearing that, there was darkness in Lu Ying's eyes. Miss Ruoxi, I really don't understand, Master. Isn't it enough to have you by his side? Why must he be head over heels over a flower vase? Qin Ruoshi furrowed her brows instantly. Luing, don't spout nonsense. Audiobook must have his reasons. Reasons? Luing shook his head. In the past, Master was wise and respected. All the missions taken on by our bodyguards were important and crucial, but today he actually made us go to the bar to protect that Yuanwan. If not for Master's sake, I wouldn't let her live for beating me up. Speaking up to this point, the cold glow in Lu Ying's eyes started flashing. Luing, you talk too much, Qin Ruoshi said. Miss Ruoshi, you're just too nice. Luing couldn't let it go. I'm speaking the truth. Who does she think she is and how can she even compete with you? If she really becomes the mistress of the C family, wouldn't the C family be a complete mess? It's because you're always so tolerant that Yuanwan is becoming more and more wild. Miss Ruoshi, you should let her know who the real mistress of the C family is and who Master really cares about. Master is completely blinded by that woman. Miss Ruoshi, you should speak up. Captain Lu Ying's absolutely right. What kind of missions did we have in the past? Never mind that a few days ago, Master made Captain and all of us go down to a bar to protect a woman who was drunk and crazy. She kept hurting everyone and in the end, the person who got punished was Captain Luing. What's the meaning of this? The leader of Dark Team 3 chimed in. Qin Ruoshi frowned. Luing, you have anger inside you, so let it out during the assessment this time. Next time don't complain so much. If Audiobook hears this, even I won't be able to protect you. Miss Ruoshi. Luing wanted to say more but was waved off by Qin Ruoshi. I believe that Audiobook has his reasons for his actions. Chapter 559. Teacher is right seeing that Qin Ruoshi was still shielding Master even when things had reached this point. The hatred for Yuanwan from all the bodyguards present almost rose to a climax. Today the entire Dark Team 1 is taking refuge in Yuanwan, and since this is the case, it's time that Dark Team 1 gets a thorough cleanse. Luing turned to Yuansheng. Yuansheng, you've been learning from Miss Ruoshi for quite a while. Don't let Miss Ruoshi and I down this time. You must become the leader of Dark Team 1. Hearing that, Yuansheng nodded and scoffed. Captain, don't worry. 11 is useless. It'll be easy to take him down. Good. Luing nodded then stood up and walked to the window. He looked towards the training room of Dark Team 1 and sneered. 11. You really think Master will take away my post as captain just for that woman, huh? Getting Yuanwan to be your trainer. Your position as the leader of Dark Team 1 will be gone too. I'm really eager to see what that flower vase can actually teach you. At the same time, in Dark Team 1's training room, pow! Pow slap. Two figures flew across swiftly then were slammed to the ground. Teacher, let's try again. 11, who was filled with bruises and a swollen face, rushed into the ring once again. Teach teacher. I would like to rest. After the delicate man stood up, he stood at the side of the ring as he stuttered. Stop. Little stutterer, did you say you want to rest? Yuanwan wiped the stream of perspiration off her forehead. Why, yes, teacher, you're right. The little stutterer nodded. Little stutterer wasn't his real name. It was just that when he first entered the C family's bodyguard team, everyone started calling him Little Stutterer and nobody actually asked for his real name before. Little Stutterer, you should take a break. 11 longed for one too. For several days, other than eating and sleeping, 11 and Little Stutter had been living in the training room, and even Yuanwan didn't leave the room at all. Yuanwan didn't mind it. At first, when she started learning about martial arts and fighting, she wasn't interested at all, but after some time, her interest grew and today, if she didn't practice a few moves in a day, she would feel very uncomfortable. She was at a point when even if 11 and Little Stutterer wanted to take a day or half day off, Yuanwan wouldn't let the two of them leave. However, during this period, 11 and Little Stutter improved drastically. They were completely different people compared to before Yuanwan started training them. Teacher, watch my moves. 11 yelled. His right arm was like an alert snake swimming in midair, then he instantly bent his palm into a claw and aimed for Yuanwan's neck. At this moment, Yuanwan was standing a distance away, not moving at all. Success. Seeing that his blow was going to land, 11 was elated. However, just as a broad smile appeared on 11's face, Yuanwan dodged to her left instinctively, causing 11's claw to grab only air. What? 11 was stunned. Taking advantage of the fact that 11 was in a daze, Yuanwan swept her left leg out like a dragon. Pow! Io! 11 howled in pain. He was sent flying 7 or 8 meters away by Yuanwan's kick. 11, what are you doing? Yuanwan frowned and chided him. Teacher. 11 was somewhat embarrassed. I told you before, you have to focus before the assessment. Don't be affected by any emotions. Your happiness, anger, or whatever emotions you have to hide them and can only release them after the assessment. Otherwise, a single mistake could cost you your life. Yuanwan advised him sternly. Actually, she was simply teaching him according to her own state of mind when she fought. Each time she sparred with 11 and Little Stutterer, her mind would be completely clear, and because of that, she had the ability to see clearly and calmly discern the enemy's next moves and thoughts. Chapter 560. Counterattack. Captain D. Let your emotions. The Little Stutterer stood below the ring and could see this fight clearly, so he simply voiced his opinion. You should just let the teacher do the talking. 11's lips twitched slightly. All right. The Little Stutterer nodded. What Little Stutterer meant was, don't let your emotions affect your skills. When you're fighting, abandon all your emotions completely, Yuanwan said. Yes. 11 nodded immediately. Again, Yuanwan beckoned 11 with her finger. Teacher, why don't you make the first move? 11 laughed. During the time he'd been learning from Yuanwan, she had always been attacked and never was the first to make a move. This time, Yuanwan shook her head. It wasn't that she didn't want to make the first move, but it was only when she felt threatened that her body reacted instinctively. If she attacked first, that mysterious aura would never appear. So, she could only be attacked and was unable to be the attacker. Teacher, I've only been learning how to counterattack. If this was the assessment, what should I do? 11 looked at Yuanwan and smiled bitterly. Yuanwan pondered for a moment. Isn't it easy? Just let the other party attack you first. This. 11 frowned and felt like this advice wasn't too useful. What do you know? This is called coping with shifting events by sticking to a fundamental principle. It's a top-notch skill in martial arts. Yuanwan pretended to be cool and all-knowing. Really? 11 was still a little doubtful. Am I the teacher or are you the teacher? Yuanwan was somewhat displeased. She was a martial arts master, yet this disciple of hers actually dared to doubt her. You're the teacher. You're right, it's me who's dim-witted. 11 quickly tried to take back what he said. The sparring continued. Yuanwan stood in the middle of the ring and beckoned 11. Come hit me. Receiving Yuanwan's provocation, 11 glared at her, raised his fists and charged towards her. In the next second, Yuanwan's left hand moved and using the lightest strength, she blocked 11's punch and hit him with her right fist. I need to calm down. Seeing Yuanwan's incoming fist, 11 took a deep breath and curbed all his emotions. Pow! Almost in an instant, 11's body swiftly grabbed hold of Yuanwan's fist. At this moment, the Little Stutterer's jaw dropped and he was completely flabbergasted. Ever since they started learning from Yuanwan, this was the first time 11 actually blocked an attack from her. I did it. 11 looked at the fist in his palm, completely shocked, then the shock turned into happiness immediately. Ahahaha, I did it. Pow. While 11 was complacent, he was sent flying again by Yuanwan's kick. Yuanwan sighed and spoke sincerely as she looked at 11 who was groaning in pain after being kicked by her. Seems like you haven't succeeded. The three of them continued training without stopping. For the sake of the assessment, 11 and Little Stutterer worked really hard. Although they were always tortured during Yuanwan's training sessions, after they sensed the improvement in their skills, they didn't find it tiring at all, and felt even more rejuvenated. The final day in Dark Team 1's training room. Tomorrow will be the actual fight. Training stops now. Both of you should get a good rest. Yuanwan looked at her two disciples. Thank you, teacher. 11 was filled with confidence. Little Stutterer, you've improved a lot after learning from teacher. It shouldn't be a problem for you to get a post as a leader. 11 looked at Little Stutterer. Why, yes, Captain's right. Little Stutterer nodded continuously. Chapter 561. Head Captain Assessment. Early in the morning at the C family's competition grounds. Aside from a couple of higher-ups from the C family, Sui was also there early. Each time they had the Dark Team Bodyguard competition, Sui would be the judge. And because of the change in the head captain, Lu Ying and many higher-ups from the C family would also be judges along with Sui. At this moment, the competition grounds were filled with people. Other than the bodyguards who were in the middle of their missions and couldn't make it, the other bodyguards were all present. Not long after, 11 along with the members of Dark Team 1 and arrived at the scene. Seeing the arrival of 11 and the others, many leaders, who were supporters of Lu Ying, curled their lips into sinister smiles, especially after they saw Yi Wanwan next to 11. The disdain in their eyes was apparent. 11 is going nuts from thinking about the post of head captain. He actually got that woman to be his teacher. After being in this post for some time, of course you wouldn't want it to be taken away, but his skills can't compare to others. Among all the teams, Dark Team 1 is the weakest, and compared to all the other team leaders, 11's skills are second to Lu Ying, so how could he even dream of fighting to be the head captain? Seeing how 11 was full of confidence, Dark Team 3's leader sneered. An ignorant man is the happiest. Does he really think he can be head captain over Lu Ying? One should have a better gauge of his own abilities. Otherwise, how is he any different from a buffoon? That woman, aside from coaxing Master, what else can she do? If it wasn't for her, head captain Lu Ying wouldn't be punished by Master, letting 11 gain an advantage. TSK, should we give in to 11 when he gets in the ring and starts giving us some girly punches? Girly punch, did he learn them from Yi Wanwan? Ha ha ha. Following the ridicule of some of the leaders, many bodyguards started laughing as well. Shut your trap. On the competition stage, Su Yi's eyes were frosty as he swept his gaze across everybody present. Hearing that, the team leaders knitted their brows and were quite upset, but they knew well enough not to speak anymore. These bodyguards were still quite afraid of Su Yi. Su Yi looked really nice, but when he really got angry, even ex-head captain Lu Ying might not be able to handle him. As the saying went, a scholar can never win an argument with a military man even when he's right. But Su Yi was of another species. He was the complete opposite of this. Su Yi deserved quite a bit of credit for his efforts in allowing them to reach their current status in the C family as the Dark Team Guards. If it wasn't for Su Yi's planning behind the scenes for the development of the bodyguard team, they might just be ordinary guards in the C family. Head Captain Lu Ying. Not long after, the leader of Dark Team 3 shouted at Lu Ying, who was making his way over. Lu Ying arrived and spoke indifferently. Before the end of this assessment, the head captain is still 11. Hearing that, some of the leaders chuckled. 11 was a temporary head captain, but in their hearts, he was no different from a clown. During these past few months, nobody treated him like a real head captain. On most days, 11 gave them orders and most of them outwardly obeyed, but secretly ignored him. Some even turned a deaf ear. What head captain Lu Ying meant was that at this moment, 11 is the head captain, but after the competition, it's another discussion altogether who the head captain is. The leader of Dark Team 3 laughed. That's what you think. I didn't say that. Lu Ying replied plainly. Of course. The leader of Dark Team 3 nodded. Chapter 562. Extremely strong. Lu Ying looked at 11, who was seated nearby, and strode over with his lips curved upward slightly. 11, perform well during this competition. Don't let the big guy down. Hearing this, 11 responded. It seems like there's nobody who wants me to get the post of head captain, huh? That may not be true. I believe Miss Yi Wanwan wishes you have some sort of breakthrough. I heard you have Miss Wanwan as your teacher. Lu Ying's eyes glistened and looked indifferently towards Yi Wanwan, who was seated among the audience. That's right. 11 admitted it fully. Teacher is extremely strong. Too bad I was only able to learn a bit from her, but even the bit of knowledge she taught me should be enough for the competition. Extremely strong? The corners of Lu Ying's lips lifted up. revealing a subtle look of ridicule, while a tinge of contempt appeared in his eyes. That night at the bar, if it wasn't for Master's sake, he would have taken that woman's life with just his fingers. However, 11 actually used the words extremely powerful to describe Yuanwan. 11. Lu Ying raised his right arm and placed it gently around 11's left shoulder as he spoke with utmost sincerity. It's not a bad thing if you wish to improve. Continue climbing upwards and obtain higher positions. But the position and your own abilities should match. The most important thing is, as Junior said, you must know your own abilities. It's no use to turn to any old doctor you can find if you're terminally ill. 1. Hearing what Lu Ying said, 11 knitted his brows. It was that Lu Ying insulted him, but what he said was filled with insults towards his teacher, and he didn't even try to be subtle with it. Lu Ying. Ili. Captain Ili. Captain 11 will beat you for sure. The little stutterer, who was standing next to Lu Ying, spoke up. Tisk. Lu Ying scoffed. I really wanted to learn some impressive-looking but useless moves from 11. It's just that he might not be able to last till I get in the ring. Lu Ying shook his head and left immediately after speaking. After Lu Ying left, the members of Dark Team 1 had their fists clenched tightly. Among all the Dark Teams, Dark Team 1 wasn't as weak as the others thought. However, each time they were on a mission, the head captain simply ignored them, almost like they didn't exist at all. It wasn't until 11 became the temporary head captain that their missions became better gradually. Each one of their missions was executed perfectly. They were very efficient and not inferior to any of the other teams at all. Today, Lu Ying was no longer the head captain. Yet he was still arrogant and tyrannical, completely overlooking head captain 11. Captain, you must let them see the strength of Dark Team 1. That's right. The other dark teams always look at our Dark Team 1 through tinted glasses. 2. We're just as effective as the other teams in completing our missions, and Captain 11 is just as skilled as Lu Ying. I think Captain 11's a better leader than Lu Ying. Look at our team. We were always looked down on, so we must let them know who the strongest dark team is. At this moment, the members of Dark Team 1 were feeling indignant at this injustice. Captain, you must get the post of head captain. A certain member of Dark Team 1 gritted his teeth. Hearing that, 11 responded, I'll do my best. If it was 3 months ago, 11 wouldn't have so much confidence for sure. But things were different now. After undergoing such high-intensity training, maybe I can do it. 11's eyes lit up slightly. Chapter 563. Challenge from the spectator seats. Yuanwan glanced at 11 from time to time and knitted her brows. Yuanwan had been interacting a lot with 11 lately, and found that he had a lot on his mind. He showed signs of low confidence which recklessly appeared between his brows. Yuanwan did mention it occasionally, but 11 was always silent about it and didn't comment. At this moment, 11 had his fists balled up, and the light in his eyes was flashing non-stop. In the past, although he wanted to be the head captain, he wasn't persistent about pursuing it. Can I really? 11 clenched his fists tighter. A while later, Qin Ruoshi walked over slowly, while Yuan Sheng followed behind her. Miss Ruoshi, why are you here? Lu Ying stepped forward when he saw her. Qin Ruoshi smiled calmly and said, to support you guys. A tinge of gratefulness appeared in Lu Ying's eyes. Miss Ruoshi, there won't be any accidents during this year's competition. Hearing that, Qin Ruoshi nodded and exchanged a few words with Yuan Sheng before walking towards the spectator seats. Hee, Captain Lu Ying, we have to trouble you to teach 11 a lesson, huh? After Qin Ruoshi left, Yuan Sheng turned to Lu Ying and chuckled. At the moment, Lu Ying didn't have much to say. Before the start of the competition, I'll go through the rules once. Su Yi scanned the entire area and said, every bodyguard from the C family is entitled to take part and fight for the position of team leader. After successfully advancing to a team leader position, you can challenge the head captain 11. You'll only have one chance, and if you win, you'll replace 11 for the time being until the end of the competition. At the end of the competition, the winner will be promoted to head captain. You can use any cold weapons in the ring, but sneak attacks and the use of firearms are prohibited. Understand? Yes. All the Dark Team bodyguards responded in unison. Good. Sui nodded and turned to the few higher-ups in the C family. Is there anything you would like to add? No, thank you. A certain higher-up replied. Okay, since this is the case, the competition starts now. Sui nodded, then walked out of the ring. After Sui left, the bodyguards didn't make a sound. In the rules, any bodyguards from the dark teams were allowed to join in the challenge, but having said that, there weren't many interested in joining. Each team leader's strength was not to be underestimated, and it was very difficult to beat them. The chances of winning were very slim, and if you failed, it was equivalent to offending the team leader, and he might settle scores with you after the challenge. It was quite an ordeal to have someone make your life difficult every day. You're not bad. Why don't you try to challenge the leader of Dark Team 4? A certain bodyguard turned to the young woman next to him and whispered. The woman shook her head fervently. I'm not going to do that for sure. The leader of Dark Team 4 is known to be ruthless, and if I fail, he will definitely hold a grudge against me, saying that I'm trying to snatch his post. If he takes revenge, I won't be able to. I'll do it. All of a sudden, Little Stutterer walked up to the ring and pointed at the leader of Dark Team 3. I would like to challenge the leader of Dark Team, TTT Team 3. Seeing this, all the bodyguards were stunned. This guy can't even speak properly and is a nobody, but he actually dared to challenge the leader of Dark Team 3? The strong and buff leader of Dark Team 3 stood up slowly and walked into the ring casually as he gave Little Stutterer side eye. You want to challenge me? The leader of Dark Team 3 scoffed. Why, yes, you're right. Little Stutterer nodded. Chapter 564. Hit me. Although he was unhappy, the leader of Dark Team 3 didn't say much. You deserve to be praised for your courage. The leader of Dark Team 3 nodded, then beckoned Little Stutterer with his finger. Come at me then. You attack first, Little Stutterer said. Little Stutterer had Yi Wanwan as his teacher, but none of the bodyguards knew this, so they definitely wouldn't know that Little Stutterer learned how to counterattack from Yi Wanwan, and wasn't very good at attacking first. Tisk. The leader of Dark Team 3 sneered. As the leader of Dark Team 3, obviously I have to let you attack first. Otherwise, people might call me a bully. See, cut. Little Stutterer pointed at the leader of Dark Team 3. The crap. I'm letting why you attack. So come hit me, if you dare. Little Stutterer's tone was very provocative, almost identical to Yi Wanwan's. Following what Little Stutterer said, all the bodyguards were taken aback. Where did this guy come from? He has the guts to talk to the leader of Dark Team 3 like this? If he's defeated, how is he going to continue being a bodyguard on a dark team? You're courting death. The leader of Dark Team 3 was furious. There were thousands of Dark Team bodyguards in the C family, but none of the team leaders even spoke to him this way. Yet this little nobody from Dark Team 1 actually mocked him like that. Swish. In no time, the leader of Dark Team 3 was akin to a moving hill as he charged towards Little Stutterer. He was able to travel to Little Stutterer's side with just a few steps. Get lost. The leader of Dark Team 3 grabbed Little Stutterer by his collar with his wide palm, and looked as if he was about to throw him out of the ring. However, in the next second, the leader's face changed slightly. Little Stutterer raised his right arm slightly. He used his palm instead of his fist, and his arm was like a wary snake while his palm was similar to the tongue of a snake. Using an extremely tricky and weird angle, he instantly attacked the leader of Dark Team 3. Then, without reducing his level of strength, he smacked him with his palm with lightning speed. This smack from Little Stutterer wasn't the result of careful consideration. It was almost instinctive. Since this was the case, the speed was even faster, resulting in the Dark Team 3 leader not having any time to react, much less counterattack. His attacks were rising like the waves, and he didn't stop. It was like an endless wave. The leader of Dark Team 3 didn't seem to understand what just happened, and was hit in the jaw by Little Stutterer. Under everyone's astonished gazes, the leader of Dark Team 3 flew like a cannon and slammed to the ground outside the ring, landing among the crowd. After a long silence, there was an uproar. Wow, where did that guy come from? He defeated the leader of Dark Team 3 with just one attack? Where did this expert appear from? I haven't heard of him before. What's his name? At this moment, the leader of Dark Team 3 looked at Little Stutterer with slight fear and panic. He never thought he would be defeated in such an embarrassing way. It didn't make any sense. The leader of Dark Team 3 didn't know what happened. That fella's reaction was oddly quick and the speed of his attack was so terrifyingly swift. How was it? I told you to cut the crap, now you know no TT. I'm the expert. Huh. Little Stutterer looked at the leader of Dark Team 3 who was below the ring. Brother Stutterer, you're amazing. A few bodyguards exclaimed in surprise. Don't call me Stutter, remember, my name is Feng Xianyi. Little Stutterer corrected them. Chapter 565. I don't hit women. Everyone was shocked that Little Stutterer defeated the leader of Dark Team 3. Little Stutterer is amazing. What Little Stutterer? It's Feng Xianyi leader Feng. Little Stutterer said sternly. Right. It's Feng Xianyi leader Feng. At this moment, the members of Dark Team 1 started echoing him. When Little Stutterer was in Dark Team 1, although his skills weren't too bad, he was mediocre compared to all the other bodyguards. Because of his stutter, he was always made fun of and bullied. After defeating the leader of Dark Team 3 in today's fight, it allowed him to prove himself. Feng Xianyi won the challenge, and will be replacing the leader of Dark Team 3 for the time being while the original leader of Dark Team 3 will be demoted to an ordinary bodyguard, and can continue the challenge. If he defeats Feng Xianyi, he'll win his post back. Sui walked up to the ring and announced the outcome of the fight. Although Little Stutterer was the winner for this fight, and took over the leadership post, it was only temporary until the end of the challenge. I'll challenge him. At that moment, a girl from Dark Team 2 went up. The girl was dressed in a tight black shirt, and had a long ponytail. She carried herself confidently, and was very energetic. I don't hit, don't hit, W women. Little Stutterer stared at the girl in the ring. You Little Stutterer, seem like you have some abilities. Little Missy here would like to have a taste of it, the female bodyguard said. Hearing that, Little Stutterer furrowed his brows. ISSS said, call me Feng Xianyi. Defeat me and I won't call you Little Stutterer. The girl laughed. I don't hit women. Little Stutterer pondered for a second before repeating himself. HNG, I think you're simply looking down on me. I'll make sure you regret it. The girl was slightly angry. A shiny dagger flickered in her right palm, and she immediately took a step forward, swinging it towards Little Stutterer. In a fraction of a second, Little Stutterer's right leg swept horizontally like a dragon with tremendous force. Bang! This kick landed right at the web between her thumb and forefinger, where she was holding the dagger. The girl was in deep pain. Her dagger fell out of her hands and she retreated many steps back. Why, you should admit defeat, Little Stutterer said. TSK you wish. This is only the beginning. The girl charged towards Little Stutterer once more. However, when she reached Little Stutterer's side, she was lifted up by him. What are you doing? The girl blushed and berated him. Little Stutterer didn't care and carried her to the side of the ring. Put me down, the girl bellowed. Right away, Little Stutterer said. In the next second, Little Stutterer reached the side of the ring, released both arms and threw the girl outside the ring. Out of boundary. Feng Xianyi wins. Sui announced. At this moment, all the bodyguards burst out in laughter. This was a rare scene in a fight. Haha. He said he wouldn't hit a woman and he really didn't. Leader Feng really has some antics, huh? He actually threw her directly outside the ring. This is my first time seeing something like this. This is an eye-opener. Some of the team leaders started cracking harmless jokes. After that, many talented bodyguards from Dark Team 3 were upset, and went up on stage to challenge him as well. But all of them were thrown out of the ring by Little Stutterer. From that moment on, nobody was interested in challenging Little Stutterer, and the stronger bodyguards had their eyes on the post of head captain, so they didn't bother fighting with Little Stutterer. Chapter 566. Checks and balances in the audience. Yuan looked at Sui and said, Sui. Sui walked over to Yi Wanwan and smiled. Miss Wanwan, this selection of leaders is decided based on their combat skills alone? Yi Wanwan was a little curious. It seemed a little sloppy to decide the team leaders and head captain solely on this. Miss Wanwan, this is indeed the case. The rules have been like this for the competition every year, and they were established by the master previously, Sui explained. Audio established this? A hint of surprise surfaced in Yi Wanwan's eyes. Shouldn't the selection criteria also include overall strength such as leadership skills, general consensus, the degree of loyalty, etc.? Yi Wanwan voiced out her opinion. Hearing what Yi Wanwan said, Sui smiled and his gaze swept across the bodyguards as he spoke softly. Miss Wanwan, look at these bodyguards. The strength of each and every one of them is much stronger than any ordinary person. As a member of the Dark Team, most of them were once runaways who had their lives on the line. What do you mean? Yi Wanwan didn't understand. Miss Wanwan, do you think the different teams get along well? Sui asked. Doesn't seem like it. Yi Wanwan answered truthfully. That's only natural. Sui said. This is where Master's brilliant. The Dark Team is controlled remotely by the C family. Any current situations and commands are all handled by the higher-ups. They only have to act accordingly. The most important thing, as Miss Wanwan mentioned just now, is loyalty. Sui thought for a moment and continued. Aside from a few missions from the C family, the Dark Team also has to uphold the safety of the C family. There are almost 1,000 members in the Dark Team, and if every member works together, and there is one person who wants to rebel, they would all rebel together at once. What would it mean for the C family then? Yi Wanwan knitted her brows. She hadn't considered that before. So Master established that they have to compete with their combat skills for the post of captain and team leader, so that by doing so, there would be competition between the various bodyguards and they wouldn't unite as one, including Lu Ying. When he was the head captain in the past, the team leaders and members bowed to him on the surface but secretly, who didn't wish to defeat him. The corners of Suyi's mouth lifted upwards. The bodyguards must never unite, and this is the Master's golden technique. When there's competition, there will be checks and balances, and when there are checks and balances, then we can truly control the guards. Actually, many of them are like 11 and Feng Xianyi. They all want to climb upwards. But 11 and Feng Xianyi are different in that they dared to speak up while most bodyguards and team leaders didn't seem interested in competing on the surface, but they knew very well what they're thinking in their hearts. Yi Wanwan took a moment to understand the rationale behind it. Even if 11 obtained the position of head captain today, there would be more people who would want to defeat 11 in the future. And all 11 could do was keep training himself in order to handle those future challenges. So who would have the mind to rebel if a person had to worry about all that? This trick was indeed the so-called golden technique, which was why Si Yihan's personnel never had any major riots. Yi Wanwan approved of Si Yihan's thought process completely. After all, there were thousands of bodyguards, and if they were bribed to rebel and hurt the Si family, the outcome would be catastrophic. However, because of this contesting rule that Si Yihan created, they would never unite. Even if the head captain was bribed and wanted to rebel, there would still be the various team leaders who had their own plans. So this was something that would never happen. Chapter 567. I would like to challenge you. The individual Dark Teams were united, just the way Dark Team 1 was. But between the various teams, they would never be united as one. If all the Dark Teams unite, they'll be banished from the C family forever. A cold light flashed in Suyi's eyes. Sui was very clear about such checks and balances. If they lost this balance, it would be a ticking time bomb for the C family. At this moment, a thunderous applause resounded as Lu Ying went up on stage. After winning the challenge, he could now be Dark Team 4's leader. The previous leader's face was gloomy as he glared at Lu Ying, who was standing in the ring with both his fists balled up. There were so many other team leaders he could challenge, but he chose me. TSK Captain Lu Ying's strength is indeed amazing. I'm impressed. Seeing Lu Ying's eyes on him, the leader of Dark Team 4 shot him daggers with his eyes and forced a smile. Captain Lu Ying is the leader of Dark Team 4 now. He is now entitled to challenge Head Captain 11. Someone exclaimed below the ring. Hearing that, Luing turned to 11. Hang on. Suddenly, Yuansheng stepped up. What? Luing looked at Yuansheng. I would like to challenge Luing. Yuansheng spoke indifferently. What did you say? Luing narrowed his eyes. I said, I would like to challenge you. Yuansheng scoffed. Luing hadn't expected that his own confidant would actually challenge him. Luing, I've been practicing with Miss Ruoxi for quite some time and believe that my skills have overtaken yours. Can't I challenge you and take over your place, huh? This is also what Miss Ruoxi wants, Yuansheng said coldly. What Miss Ruoxi wants? Luing scowled. Yuansheng, your wings have hardened, and this is what you want. Do you think I would believe you when you say that this is what Miss Ruoxi wants? TSK, it doesn't matter. This is how the dark teams in the C family work. The strongest have the most power, Yuansheng said. I think you're just courting death. Luing glared at him icily and his body moved swiftly. His fist turned into an open palm, and he used it as a knife as he aimed for Yuansheng. That's all you got. Yuansheng's reaction was faster. His body shifted slightly and he dodged Lu Ying's hand, then he landed a punch on Lu Ying's stomach. Lu Ying's face changed and he retreated a couple of steps back. My turn. Yuansheng sneered and pressed him hard with each step, attacking at random. Yuansheng's speed and strength was almost a perfect combination. His footwork was unusually quick and in just half a minute, Luing was already retreating one step after another. Yuansheng actually improved so much, Luing was shocked. Luing, this is enough to prove that I'm stronger than you. So the one who's going to challenge 11 and become the head captain is me. Yuansheng looked at Luing disapprovingly. After 100 strikes, the distracted Luing was pressed by Yuansheng tightly, and finally revealed many weaknesses. Yuansheng found the right timing and pushed Luing outside the ring with just one palm. This is impossible. Luing closed his eyes in complete disbelief. I was actually defeated by Yuansheng. How could I be defeated? Luing, you've been hogging this head captain post of yours for quite some time. It's time for a change. The dark teams of the C family don't need to enter a rut, understand? Yuansheng looked at Luing coldly. You. Luing gritted his teeth and his whole face nearly contorted. This Yuansheng was just a dog by my side. I haven't even fought 11 but already lost to him. Darn it. Chapter 568. I shall let you attack first. He, the one who vowed that he would take back the post of head captain, actually lost to his lackey, right in front of everyone. Luing felt as if there was a wild beast charging and howling in his chest. All kinds of emotions were tearing him apart. Not far off, Yuanwan was astonished as well. Luing actually lost. In her previous life, she didn't have much memory of this Yuansheng guy and he didn't accomplish much then, but in this life he actually defeated Luing. I want to challenge 11. At this current moment, Yuansheng's voice resounded in the entire area. Sure. 11 accepted the challenge. He stood up from his head captain seat and walked into the ring. Do your best, beat him to death. Little Stutterer gave his support from his team leader seat. All the best, Captain. Let this guy know who's awesome. TSK, how is someone like him qualified to be the captain? He's just a lackey and was a dog by Lu Ying's side. Yet he bit the hand that fed him. Exactly. If he becomes the head captain, we won't even know if he sells us out during missions. Currently, the members of Dark Team 1 were deep in discussion. Aside from the members of Dark Team 1, everyone else was giving their support to Yuansheng and trying to win favor with him. In the eyes of the bystanders, even Luing was defeated by Yuansheng, not to mention 11. This competition had unexpectedly revealed a bunch of dark horses. Come on. I'd like to see how formidable this head captain is. Yuansheng snarled and beckoned 11 with his index finger. As the head captain, I shall let you attack first, 11 said. Oh, let me attack first? Yuansheng smiled. In his eyes, 11 wasn't even worth a mention. Hit me if you have the guts. 11 learned this from Little Stutterer. TSK, that's a little too easy, huh? Yuansheng ridiculed him, then stepped forward and traveled a few meters across, reaching 11's side instantly. Die. Yuansheng pulled out a combination of punches. However, 11 stood in the same spot and didn't move at all. He used his palm as a shield and brandished it in the air. Both their fists and palms struck one another. Yuan Sheng attacked with several moves in succession, yet was unable to gain any advantage on 11. What? Yuan Sheng retreated a few steps back. He knitted his brows and looked at 11 strangely. He knew 11's strength very well. He normally couldn't block even 3 moves from him. But just now 11 actually dismissed all his attacks with ease. 11 was like a flawless fortress without any blemishes on his body. He was even more like a hedgehog covered in sharp thorns. Nobody could lay their hands on him at all. What is it? Come hit me. 11 yelled. However, Yuan Sheng furrowed his brows like he just realized something. This time he didn't attack first and said, "You come over. Come over if you've got the guts." 11 beckoned. "Head captain, why don't you attack first?" The two of them dragged it out like this and nobody moved even after 10 minutes. "Come on, fight, fuck. Are you guys fighting? What are you doing? Is this a date? Damn it. I'm falling asleep, please start fighting." All the bodyguards were somewhat speechless. They didn't know what 11 and Yuan Sheng were doing. Not far off, Yuan coughed lightly and covered her face quietly. "Why don't I know how to attack first, and why did I only teach 11 how to counterattack?" That Yuan Sheng has obviously seen through this trick. After some time, Sui said, "Yuan Sheng, you are the challenger. If there's no clear winner within the next half an hour, it'll be taken that you've lost." Chapter 569. Good-for-nothing Yuan Sheng was familiar with this rule as well, and didn't need Su Yi's reminder. Tisk! Suddenly, Yuan Sheng straightened up and said faintly, 11, I know you're past, just a cowardly good-for-nothing like you actually have the nerve to fight for the post of head captain? What did you say? 11 furrowed his brows. Tsk. Yuan Sheng shook his head and smiled. 4 years ago, before you picked up martial arts and joined the C family's dark team, you had a girlfriend who was your childhood sweetheart, and you guys had quite a good relationship. You. At the reminder of the past, 11's body stiffened. What a pity. That night while you and your girlfriend were strolling in the park, both of you met some armed drunkards. Yuan Sheng's smile grew wider. Enough. 11 clenched his fists and his breathing became more rapid. Why? You don't dare to face the truth, huh? Yuan Sheng mocked. Too bad. That thug insulted your girlfriend right in front of you. And you actually ran away, ha ha ha. Leaving your own girlfriend to fend for herself. You're really selfless. Stop, that's enough. 11's nails dug deep into the flesh of his palms and fresh blood started trickling down. That night, your girlfriend threw herself into the lake and took her own life. While she felt the most helpless and scared, she was abandoned by her boyfriend. That's really pitiful. Yuan Sheng shook his head. I did not shut up. 11's eyes started welling up. The incident from 4 years ago surfaced in his head. That time he was still a teenager and they were severely outnumbered. The drunkards were also armed. He ran away. But it was to seek help. It was just that he was too late. After his girlfriend was humiliated by those people, she threw herself into the lake. He hadn't forgiven himself all these years, and this was also the reason he picked up martial arts. After he successfully acquired the skills, he found those drunkards and sliced their heads off personally. He also became a runaway from then on. After that, he was taken in by the C family and became a member of the dark team. I didn't run, nor did I think about abandoning her. He was forced to do so according to the situation. He needed to seek help. Her smile appeared in his memory and 11 howled like a trapped beast. Shut up. Shut up. I didn't run. I didn't. You're a coward, a good-for-nothing. You should have died together with your girlfriend then. Why are you here today, trying to be head captain? Who are you to occupy that post? Yuan Sheng spoke quickly. You darn it, shut the hell up. Shut up. At this moment, 11 completely broke out of his stance and was like a wild beast. He didn't care about anything else as he charged towards Yuan Sheng with an evil, malicious air around him. Seeing that he got what he wanted, Yuan Sheng was all smiles. Pow. Yuan Sheng threw a punch which landed on 11's stomach, causing 11 to fall to the ground. Go to hell. 11 bellowed and tried to get up. However, Yuansheng stepped on 11's chest and looked at 11 condescendingly. You are a good-for-nothing who can't even protect your own girlfriend. Why is someone like you still alive? Why don't you die instead? It's only fair to your girlfriend. Bullshit. 11's eyes were bloodshot, and the veins in his forehead protruded. You're a coward who abandoned your own girlfriend. Admit it. Yuansheng gave a cunning smile. At this moment, there was an uproar below the ring. Nobody expected that the nameless 11 would have a past like this. I didn't. Listening to Yuansheng and the buzzing discussion in the crowd, 11's mind was in a whirl, revealing all his weaknesses. Chapter 570. Do not insult her at this moment. Yi Wanwan's expression was frosty. Sui, can someone like this even join the dark team? Isn't it against the rules to use a method like this? Sui shook his head. Although that should be the case, the rules only state that firearms and sneak attacks aren't allowed during the fight. There was a resounding thump of a body being slammed in the ring as 11 fell to the side of the ring after receiving a punch. Yuansheng laughed and walked over as he stomped on 11's face. Admit defeat yet, great head captain? 11 propped himself up with his arms and staggered as he got up once again. His sweat blurred his vision, and everything in front of him was hazy. You're really courting death. Yuansheng sneered. In the next second, there was a swishing sound. His fingers were like a sharp claw as they sped rapidly towards the head captain ring around 11's finger. Ah! 11 cried out, then there was the sound of bones being crushed. Click! The silver ring landed on the marble surface in the arena, producing a clear sound. Captain 11. Yuansheng. That bastard. The members of Dark Team 1 were so mad that their eyes were red, but because of the rules, they weren't able to interfere. As for the other bodyguards, they were indifferent. 11 was weak, so he couldn't blame anyone for this. Even if he died in the ring, he could only blame his own weakness. Yuansheng bent down, picked up the ring and looked at 11 with complete disdain and ridicule. TSK, a useless scoundrel indeed. You can't even keep the ring on, yet you're still thinking of being the head captain? Due to the mental distress and excruciating pain in his body, 11's body already reached its limit, but he was still unwilling to back down, unwilling to give up. Yuansheng put the ring on his own finger casually and said condescendingly, head captain, what's wrong? Weren't you full of confidence before the competition? You even said you have a formidable teacher and can defeat all of us. Huh? Haha. In the end, this is the rubbish that woman produced. What a great show. Lying on the ground and almost at his last breath, 11 dug his nails into his palms and used all of his strength to get up. He stammered. Shut up, you can insult me. I'm not a good student, and this has nothing to do with anyone else. You're not allowed to insult my teacher. Trash like you, my teacher, can defeat you with just one hand. Ha, ha ha ha, what a joke. Did you guys hear that? Our head captain said the great teacher who taught him how to fight like a girl can defeat me with just one hand. I'm so scared. Why don't you bring her up here then? Below the ring, everyone laughed loudly. What 11 said was really hilarious. Did he lose his head after spending all that time with that woman? Tisk, it's over, head captain. There was a cold and murderous look in Yuansheng's eyes and his fist pounded 11's chest like he was a punching bag. At this moment, 11 was wide open and had no energy to retaliate at all. In the next second, the audience witnessed a flash before their eyes as something appeared abruptly in the ring. Following that, there was a loud pow that caused everyone to feel their blood run cold. That was the sound of two fists clashing together. When his fist knocked into that delicate little fist, Yuansheng's entire being retreated many steps and the smug look on his face froze. Yi Wanwan's slender body stood in the ring. Not moving an inch, she looked at the man who had begged for her to step up. Her eyes had no warmth at all, and her cherry lips spat out 3 icy cold words. As you wish. Chapter 571. Roll down from this ring, Miss Wanwan. Sui broke out in a cold sweat when he saw Yi Wanwan charging up to the ring. And all the bodyguards were stunned as well. Teacher. I'm sorry. 11 clenched his fists and looked down. Yuanwan frowned and helped 11 up. I'm the one who should be apologizing. Due to her limited skills, she wasn't able to coach him well and didn't know about the knot in his heart. She felt an overwhelming sense of guilt to be called his teacher. Yuan Sheng felt a numb and painful sensation on his wrist, and his eyes turned gloomy. The rumors are true. This woman is quite strong. Yuan Sheng stood there and said coldly, Miss Yi, no offense, but this ring is meant for the competition between Dark Team bodyguards. It's not a bar where you can come and go as you like, breaking all the rules. When the other bodyguards heard what Yuan Sheng said, they were upset as well. This was a competition. Even as the mistress of the household, she couldn't simply butt in and mess things up. Furthermore, Yuanwan wasn't officially in that position yet. Yuanwan looked disapprovingly at Yuan Sheng and replied expressionlessly, Rules? If I didn't hear you wrong, you were the one who invited me up here, and I was merely accommodating your request. Even if it's against the rules, shouldn't you be the one who's responsible? Yuan Sheng immediately retorted, Since when did I? Alas, he stopped speaking halfway as he recalled something. Seems like I did say that. Damn it, I blurted that out while trying to anger 11 just now. But in the end this woman used it against me. The rest of the bodyguards were dumbfounded and looked at each other with confusion. Although what this woman said was forcing logic, they had no way of refuting her. Yuanwan let little stutterer help 11 out of the ring. With an iciness in her eyes, she didn't beat around the bush and directly said, Come at me. Yuan Sheng sneered. TSK, I wouldn't dare. If I hurt you, I couldn't make amends for it even if I died 10,000 times. I can't bear the responsibility. Yuanwan didn't have a trace of any emotions on her face. If you don't dare, then roll out of this ring. Yuan Sheng was agitated and his face was filled with disdain and ridicule. This woman is brainless. She got herself into this, but she has the guts to speak so arrogantly. Exactly like 11. She lost her cool with just a bit of provocation. Indeed, trash will only produce trash. When the bodyguards below the ring heard Yuanwan's ignorant and arrogant words, sure enough, looks of disgust appeared on their faces. Is this woman dumb? Everyone gave in to her at the bar before. Does she really think she's some invincible kung fu master? She even recruited students of her own and challenged one of the strongest bodyguards. Who gave her the courage, huh? She's received so much praise that she doesn't even know the truth anymore. No wonder she produced a good-for-nothing like 11. She's unreasonable. How could this woman be compared to Miss Ruoshi? Yuan Sheng sighed and looked at Su Yi awkwardly. Housekeeper Su, Miss Yi is really making things hard for me. I'll let you make the final decision. Su Yi's face was as black as the underside of a pot, and he also had a terrible headache. He was in a dilemma and could only look at Yuanwan to plead for help. Chapter 572. Life and death are determined by fate. Great aunt, could you please give me some face? I'm the host today. Too bad. Yuanwan was immovable like a mountain and looked determined to fight. Sui didn't have a choice and could only put on a long face. Hold on, I need to ask for instructions. Sui stepped to the side and hurriedly gave his master a call. After 2 rings, Sihan answered. Sui spoke anxiously. Hello 99th master. What is it? The man's deep voice came through the phone. What else? Your wife is causing trouble again. I might not be able to handle this situation anymore. How could such a thing happen when she's just a spectator? I'm going to break down soon, alright? Sui whined in his heart, but he had to suppress his emotions on the surface. He reported what happened with careful detail, then trembled in fear as he said, This has never happened before. I really can't make a decision. So I'm here to ask you for instructions. What should I do now? Your wife insists on fighting. I can't convince her not to, so please do something. Finally, after a short moment of silence, a clear and cold reply came. Sure. What? Sure? What do you mean by sure? Sui was dumbfounded. He was about to speak when he heard his master's calm voice. Follow the rules of a knockout tournament. What? According to the rules of a knockout tournament? Following the rules of a knockout tournament means that life and death are determined by fate. Master, did you make a mistake somewhere? If Miss Wanwan gets hurt, how am I going to answer for it? Hello. 9 Teach. Sui was about to probe further, but Si Han hung up. Seeing Sui in a daze, Yuan Sheng said, Housekeeper Su, Master obviously wouldn't allow such a dangerous event. I guess you better convince Yi. Before Yuan Sheng could finish his sentence, Sui looked up and interrupted him. Ninth Master agreed. What? Yuan Sheng was stunned by his reply. All the bodyguards at the scene were astounded as well. Very soon, the shock in Yuan Sheng's eyes quickly turned to a subtle happiness, but he acted like he was in a difficult position and said, But if I accidentally hurt Miss Yi, I might not be able to account for it. Although Sui was at an extreme loss, he could only quote what Si Han said. Master already ordered that it shall proceed according to the rules of a knockout tournament. When Yi Wanwan heard that, she raised her brows slightly and her expression turned gentler. Su Yi's words ignited an uproar once again. Everyone below the ring was waiting for a good show. If she hadn't courted death, she wouldn't have to die, huh? Ninth Master is probably sick and tired of this woman acting up all the time, and wants to give her a lesson, right? Yuan Sheng didn't have to be apprehensive about it anymore. Of course he couldn't kill her, but it was perfectly fine to give her a little lesson. In the crowd, Luing looked towards the ring unsympathetically. He already knew this would happen. Someday, this woman would have to pay for her stupidity. Not everyone would give her face. With Yuan Sheng's audacious ambition plus the master's promise, he would definitely give this woman a lesson today, and make a name for himself. After he received permission to proceed, Yuan Sheng wasn't apprehensive anymore. He looked content like he was sampling a dessert after a meal and spoke like a gentleman. Miss Yi, although this is a fair competition, you're a woman after all, so I will try to end this in 3 moves to prevent hurting you. Chapter 573, Tyrannical. Listening to how Yuan Sheng was pretending to have some humility, Yuan stood in the same spot without any expression and didn't say a word. When Yuan Sheng was done talking, he adopted a starting pose. His palms faced forward with one leg striking high in the sky. His entire body was like a tiger springing down from a mountain, overbearing and threatening. Hee, this woman came at the right time. I was struggling over how to show my loyalty towards Miss Ruoshi. Below the ring, most people were cheering aside from Dark Team 1. After all, nobody liked having a woman running into the ring without permission, nor did they like being given orders and criticized. This woman courted death of her own accord. We can finally teach her a little lesson. She really thinks the Dark Team is weak, huh? Leader Yuan, 3 moves is too much. I think 1 move would be enough. She's so weak that I'm scared her bones will break with just half a move. Yuan didn't care about this mockery at all. She placed one hand behind her back and turned to Sui. Can we begin? Sui coughed lightly. Yes, you may begin now. I have to remind you, Miss Wanwan, fists and feet have no eyes in the ring, and one is responsible for one's own life or death, so please prioritize your safety and don't act impulsively. You must not. Yuan frowned. Nagi. Sui prepared a whole list of reminders that he didn't get the chance to say. Following Yuan's scoff, an oppressive figure flew over. In the next second, there was a resounding pow. Yuan Sheng, who previously moved confidently and with ease, was like a kite with a broken string as he was sent flying across the ring. His body knocked against the pillar at the edge of the ring. The pillar cracked. Yuan Sheng spat out a mouthful of fresh blood instantly, and leaned against the pillar for support, so he didn't fall out of the ring. Sui. Yuan Sheng hadn't reacted to what happened yet when Yuan's elbow appeared like a huge mountain, and struck him on his shoulders. Yuan Sheng dropped to the ground in an instant. Sui. Yuan Sheng stood up and hadn't had time to process what happened when a terrifying figure charged at him. His body knocked against the same pillar again. Sui. Bang, the pillar broke immediately. Yuan Sheng's body flew out and looked as if he was about to land outside the ring. This is bad. At this second, a powerful force grabbed Yuan Sheng's collar. That force brutally flung him towards the ring, then slammed him on the ground, causing an explosion of dust. Ouch! Cough cough. Within a short 5 seconds, there were 3 moves. Yuan Sheng's sternum was shattered into pieces, his back was unbearably painful and his face was bruised and swollen while fresh blood flowed everywhere. Yi Wanwan looked condescendingly at the man who was about to fall out of the ring, but was dragged back inside by her. She curled her lips lazily, speaking in a low voice. You want this to end soon? I'm afraid I'm not going to let you. Let's take half an hour, not a second less. Pow! Yuan Sheng's body was sent flying like a torn rag once again. After that, the entire ring was filled with sounds of his body being slammed down repeatedly, and the chilling sound of his bones breaking. There was a total of 8 pillars in the ring, and Yuan Sheng already broke 5 of them. Zui. Chapter 574. Can Ninth Master stand it? At this current moment, all the bodyguards stood there in a daze and didn't even breathe. Below the ring, someone swallowed with a loud gulp. Gulu. This, what's going on? It was like a feral dog was let off its leash. Nobody understood what just happened. Smash. After over 20 minutes, the 6th pillar was broken as well. Yuan Sheng's mind was in a whirl. He was already beaten senseless and fear encapsulated him as he watched the tyrannical figure make her way towards him. He rapidly crawled backward. How is this possible? How is this possible? This woman was simply the devil. No matter what moves he tried to execute, she somehow knew and was well prepared for them with knowledge of his weaknesses beforehand. The scariest part was her speed. She didn't leave him any time to think, messing up all his moves. According to 11's fight just now, she should only know how to defend and not attack, right? So how? A pow! Yuan Sheng was only halfway up when he was flung away horizontally, knocking into the pillar. He spat out fresh blood along with his front tooth. He laid on the floor on his last breath. He was already exhaling more than he was inhaling. Meanwhile, the 7th pillar split into pieces and fell to the floor. Oh my God! What happened? Did I see things correctly? Yuan Sheng was actually tortured. Isn't this a little too overboard? Someone took a big gulp. But Master set himself to follow the rules. Life and death are determined by fate, and even if someone dies in the ring, nobody takes responsibility. Everyone revealed an indescribable expression. Su Yi's mouth was wide open to the point that his jaw was on the verge of dropping. He suddenly realized why Master specifically stressed that life and death were determined by fate. However, even though that was stated in the rules, everyone normally tried to keep things tame during the competition. If anything fatal happened today, it wouldn't be too beneficial for Miss Wanwan's reputation either. Directly killing a bodyguard was a little too much. Sui was extremely anxious. He kept looking at the time, and once he saw that the time was almost up, he quickly yelled, Miss Wanwan, time's up. Time's up. Quick stop. Yi Wanwan turned to the gigantic clock and looked disapprovingly at Sui, who was in a panic. What's the rush? Aren't there 3 more seconds? Using the final second, a loud pow echoed and Yuan Sheng was sent flying to the 8th pillar with a kick. The pillar responded by breaking into pieces. This time, Yuan Sheng's body directly knocked against the pillar and broke it. Then he fell out of the ring. Time's up. The fight was over. There was a complete silence. Sui covered his face and couldn't bear to witness what happened. Among the crowd, Luing stood in a daze. His face was ashen and stiff. How did this happen? Yuan Sheng's skills are better than mine, but how come Yuan Sheng couldn't even stand a chance in front of this woman? Under everyone's stunned gazes, Yi Wanwan walked to the edge of the ring, step by step. Almost everyone by the side of the ring took a step back subconsciously. They looked at Yi Wanwan like they were looking at some prehistoric monster. This was too brutal, huh? It hurt just to watch it. The main point is that she was really only using one hand from beginning till the end. Can the sickly and weak 9th Master take this violence? With all the horrified gazes on her, Yi Wanwan stepped across the floor stained with blood and jumped out of the ring. After which she turned to Sui and said, You guys may continue. Then she turned and walked away without looking back at all. Chapter 575. An unexpected outcome. Sui stared at the retreating figure of the future mistress of the household and took a big gulp. He took a long time to compose himself before turning to the crowd and announcing, cough cough, the competition for head captain shall can't continue. The winner of the last fight was Yuan Sheng. Now, does anyone wants to challenge Yuan Sheng for the position of head captain? Following Su Yi's announcement, all the bodyguards at the scene snapped back to reality from the bloody scene they just witnessed. A few of the team leaders who were qualified to challenge the head captain looked at Yuan Sheng, who was beaten to a pulp, then turned to look at each other, confused. Yuan Sheng's in this state right now. How can he continue to fight like this? We would have an unfair advantage, right? Furthermore, he looks so pathetic. We wouldn't bear to fight him. Yuan Sheng laid on the ground with his last breath, fresh blood still flowing out of his mouth, and his eyes were filled with gloominess and hatred. He couldn't accept this outcome at all. This idiotic woman. How could this happen? He was actually beaten up so badly that he couldn't retaliate at all in front of so many people. But no matter what, this post of head captain would still belong to him. Are you alright? Qin Ruoxi walked over hurriedly. She got Lu Ying and the others to help him up. Although events of the competition were different from what she expected, at least it was still within her control, and she gained control over the post of head captain. If not for that woman, everything would have been perfect. Sui asked again and nobody responded. Hence Sui coughed lightly and said, alright, since nobody wants to challenge him, then I declare that the head captain of Dark Team this time is I want. At this moment, someone stuttering could be heard. Sui turned to the youth who spoke up. You what? I want. Su Yi's head was covered in black lines. You want to challenge him? Little stutterer nodded. Yes. Sui. Are you sure? All the bodyguards started discussing amongst themselves. Damn. Isn't this a bit ridiculous, huh? He's already beaten up and that guy still wants to challenge him? Exactly. Winning a fight like that isn't really considered a win, right? Little stutterer harumphed and glared at those people. Can't I challenge him? Life and death are determined by fate in the ring. He can only blame his lousy skills for being beaten up like that. It has nothing to do with anyone else. What has it got to do with me? Furthermore, I hate men who beat women up. It was so rare that little stutterer was able to speak with such eloquence. However, once they heard the last sentence he said, everyone's head was covered in black lines. Beat women up. Which I of his saw Yuan Sheng hitting a woman. He was beaten up from the start, alright? It was simply tyrannical. Once little stutterer finished speaking, he hopped into the ring self-righteously. Hearing the certainty and confidence in little stutterer's tone, Yuan Sheng, who was already half beaten to death, was nearly angered to death by him. The result of this competition came almost without any suspense. Yuan Sheng was almost crippled by Yi Wanwan's beatings. It was already very hard to climb back into the ring, and with a few attacks he was kicked back down. Sui wiped his sweat and announced, Little stutterer, no I mean, Feng Xianyi won. Is there anyone who wants to challenge Feng Xianyi? Below the ring, everyone looked at each other but none of them had the intention of going up. Lu Ying lost to Yuan Sheng and even lost his title as team leader, so he wasn't qualified to challenge the head captain at all. After 11 lost to Yuan Sheng, although he still held the status of team leader, he couldn't possibly challenge Little Stutterer. As for the other team leaders, the most skillful was the leader of Dark Team 3, but he already lost to Little Stutterer previously, so the other team leaders obviously wouldn't voluntarily ask for a snub. So the result of this head captain competition. Sui saw that nobody else was speaking up, so he declared, since nobody wants to challenge him, the newly appointed head captain is Feng Xianyi. Su Yi's voice echoed throughout the training grounds as he announced this unexpected outcome. Chapter 576. Indeed a little hardcore. There were no pillars around to act as barriers anymore, so Yuan Sheng's body flew directly out of the ring. He slammed onto the ground hard and couldn't move at all while he listened to Su Yi's announcement of the results. That blazing red vermilion bird ring fell to the ground with a ding, adding to the ridicule. Nobody expected that the post of head captain would actually land in little stutterer's hands. Damn. The post of head captain was settled just like that? This is legit. It wasn't 11 or Lu Ying or even the black horse Yuansheng. It was actually this little stutterer? This is too unexpected. After all, most of them didn't have a clue who he was before the competition. Everyone from Dark Team 1 crowded around Little Stutterer and was extremely excited. Ha 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 ha. Little Stutterer. You're amazing, wow. That was so unexpected. You're completely shameless, but I love that. Well done. This is how you deal with that ignorant bastard. Otherwise, we'd be letting him off too easily, huh? Little Stutterer corrected them sternly. Call me Feng Xianyi and I'm not shameless, he's the shameless one. Beat women up. Leader Yeli. 11 Don't be you upset. I took revenge for you already. Ha ha ha. What Little Stutterer said caused everyone to burst into a fit of laughter. Even 11's serious expression turned gentler. But the coolest part was our Miss Wanwan's tyrannical fight. Yes. It was simply too gratifying. The way she beat him up made me feel so happy. Did you guys see that just now? That dumbass Yuansheng was still posing in the ring when Miss Wanwan sent him flying with a single kick. Who on earth would bother posing in a fight? Just go up there and end it right away. Yi Wanwan watched as Little Stutterer ran into the ring. She was shocked herself. However, she really liked Little Stutterer's style of doing things. Letting others have a taste of their own medicine. They say you're shameless? Then I'll be even more shameless. Yuansheng's expression when Little Stutterer went up on stage was even more tragic than when Yi Wanwan beat him 100 times. Currently, all the other bodyguards were deep in their own discussions. After today's competition, everyone looked at Yi Wanwan with a different light. I really didn't expect that. That woman actually has some moves. Yuansheng was completely defeated. Exactly. Even though Lu Ying lost to Yuansheng in the end, Yuansheng couldn't even fight this woman, so we can tell how strong she is without a second thought. No wonder Master was so relaxed and allowed us to follow the rules. Darn it, she looks so pretty and delicate too. Wasn't this a little too violent? Master's taste is truly hard to perceive. This is indeed a little hardcore. Miss Ruashi. Yuansheng struggled to speak. Qin Ruashi beckoned someone to treat Yuansheng, then she looked in Yi Wanwan's direction. A cloud of darkness entered her eyes. This time, although 11 was no longer head captain, he was still the leader of Dark Team 1, not to mention that the head captain was now Feng Xianyi. As Yuansheng lost to Little Stutterer, he was only the leader of Dark Team 4. As for Lu Ying, he was defeated by Yuansheng, so he wasn't even a team leader, and was demoted to an ordinary member. Chapter 577. Legendary Expert. How is this possible? How did things turn out this way? The competition was over, and people started to leave. Lu Ying, who was previously so confident about getting the post of head captain back, watched as Dark Team 1 celebrated and cheered. He looked at Yuansheng being lifted in the air by the members of Dark Team 4 and stood there in a daze. Up to this current moment, he still couldn't believe the outcome of this competition. He didn't expect he would lose to Yuansheng. And he was even more surprised that Yi Wanwan's skills were actually at this stage. He always mocked her for barely having the strength to truss a chicken. He insulted her and called her a burden, but now it seemed like he was the joke. A complete joke. He couldn't even defeat Yuansheng, much less Yi Wanwan. He was born into an aristocratic family of ancient martial artists, and thought he was better than others. He never cared about anyone else, but within a day, it seemed like his entire life was turned upside down. He finally realized that however perfect things might seem, there would always be stronger people out there. He heard light footsteps next to him and Qin Ruashi consoled him gently. Lu Ying, don't give up. You're still young and you can still improve. A failure or two is no big deal. Lu Ying lowered his head. I just feel like a joke. I kept laughing at Yi Wanwan in the past, but in the end I realized that I'm no match for her. I might not even be able to survive one attack from her. This fact alone was enough to crush him. Qin Ruashi patted Lu Ying's shoulder. You can't make a comparison like that. Miss Yi is pretty gifted herself and ninth master hired a great teacher to coach her, so she could learn some self-defense. Naturally, she was able to make drastic improvements. As for Yuan Sheng, he was able to suddenly break through his bottleneck recently. He wasn't sure why, but at this moment, Luing looked at this woman before him, and the phrase Yuan Sheng mentioned before surfaced in his head. This is also what Miss Ruoxi wants. Could it be that Miss Ruoxi purposely trained Yuan Sheng to let him take the post of head captain? Luing knew he wasn't as skilled as Yuan Sheng, and since this was the case, he shouldn't have any complaints, but this realization made him miserable. At the infirmary, Yuan Sheng quickly struggled to get up when he saw Qin Ruoxi walking over. Miss Ruoxi, don't get up, just lie down. You're seriously injured, Qin Ruoxi said. Yuan Sheng's face was extremely gloomy. His swollen and bruised face looked even more hideous and awful at this moment as he said, "Damn it! Miss Ruoxi, the post of head captain belongs to me." That woman suddenly appeared and caused trouble, going against the rules. You have to stand up for me. Yuan Sheng's eyes lit up as he continued. HNG, no matter how great that Yi Wanwan is, she can never be compared to Miss Ruoxi. Miss Ruoxi, you're the true genius. You're gifted in many areas, practiced martial arts since you were little, gathered all the strong skills from various schools, and your skills are so unmeasurable that calling you a legendary expert might not even suffice. It was also because of your coaching that I had my breakthrough. Miss Ruoxi, I was groomed by you personally. Yi Wanwan was obviously trying to provoke you by hitting my face like that. Qin Ruoxi naturally knew the motive behind Yuan Sheng's flowery praise, and she glanced at him plainly. That's enough, don't bring this incident up anymore. Audiobook didn't stop the fight then, so it means there's no room for negotiation on this matter. Yuan Sheng felt indignant. Master is simply out of his mind. How could he simply allow that woman to interfere with the Xi family's affairs and bribe others? But Miss Ruoxi, don't worry, I won't be like that idiot Luing, and only be devoted towards ninth master. In the future, if there's any news regarding this woman, I'll definitely report it to you immediately, not leaving her any opportunities to take advantage of. Chapter 578. With his master's EQ on the training grounds, Sui looked towards the cheering crowd surrounding Yi Wanwan, and his eyes flickered. At first, he didn't understand why master would agree to something so ridiculous and let 11 and Feng Xianyi hire Miss Wanwan as their teacher. Now he finally understood. Master was helping Miss Wanwan carve a path for herself, and was certain she could do it. The various factions in the Xi family were very complicated and difficult to deal with. When the old master absurdly produced many illegitimate children, it caused the Xi family to be in turmoil, and the entire family nearly fell apart. The dark team old master left behind was a mess as well. It was only when the original master, who was originally disinterested in his right of inheritance, suddenly returned to power and quickly cleaned up the entire family, that the Xi family finally maintained some peace and stability for the time being. Under such circumstances, just saying, Yi Wanwan will be the future mistress of the household, wouldn't be sufficient to tame all the powerful factions or eliminate all the voices of opposition. After all, with Yi Wanwan's current status, pushing her higher up would only put her in more danger. This was also the same concern he shared with the others when Yi Wanwan appeared before. In the past, Yi Wanwan was too unrestrained. With a person like her by master's side, she really would get master killed someday. He also didn't understand why master would cling to Yi Wanwan, and insisted on pushing her up to that position. It was only recently that Sui gradually changed his attitude towards Yi Wanwan. It was probably because he was extremely disappointed with his father that the old master never interfered with the family's fights, causing everyone in the Xi family to nearly forget about his existence for a long time. From Suyi's point of view, the master didn't have any demands or requests. He didn't care about anything and definitely didn't know anything about relationships. He never even took a proper look at his own so-called childhood sweetheart, Qin Ruoxi, before. After all, with master's EQ, women's actions were, in effect, simply for the blind. He would never get it. Hence, Sui was very surprised when his master, who never fought for anything, suddenly started vying for power. The second thing that was both unexpected and hard to understand was the intense manner that his master used to force a woman like Yi Wanwan to stay by his side. I wonder what sort of secrets lurk among all this. Not far off, the bodyguards were very excited. Miss Wanwan, you're awesome. You groomed a head captain. Actually, if it wasn't for that Yuan Sheng playing his dirty tricks, Leader 11 wouldn't have any problem being the head captain at all. Thankfully, our Captain Xian Yi was quick-witted and didn't allow Yuan Sheng to have his way. The bodyguards spoke as they got closer to Yi Wanwan. Miss Wanwan, please teach us a few moves as well. Leader 11 said you're able to see through a person's weaknesses and loopholes with one glance. Just how do you do that? Me too. I want to learn too. Yi Wanwan laughed. I'll teach you guys whenever I'm free. Seeing this group of passionate bodyguards, Yi Wanwan was deeply moved. In her previous life, even when she was already married to Si Yi Han, and was the mistress of the household, nobody really respected her. The more Si Yi Han protected her, the more she was a troublemaking vixen in everyone's eyes, and the more they couldn't forgive her. But now, after the head captain competition, she actually received sincere approval from these people. These bodyguards, who revered martial arts skills, had an obvious change in attitude towards her. The head captain and leader of Dark Team 1 were even her disciples. Chapter 579. Can't run away from meeting the parents. Although this was just a small change, it gave her a sense of satisfaction. In her previous life in that inharmonious world, she lost herself and everyone denied everything she did. It was as if she was useless scum who had to do the bidding of other people. It was awful. Previously, she didn't have a choice and was forced to trudge ahead by fate, but right now, she suddenly felt so different. Maybe staying by Si Yi Han's side might not be as scary as I thought. Miss Wanwan, don't break your promise, okay? Everyone cheered with excitement. After that, someone suggested, let's go get some drinks to celebrate. Ah, sure. Tonight, we have to drink till we're drunk. Little Stutterer skipped over to Yi Wanwan and invited her along. Teacher, UCC come along and drink too. Yi Wanwan asked, drink? The second they heard Little Stutterer and Yi Wanwan's conversation, everyone turned dead silent, and the lively mood instantly froze. 3 seconds later, a couple bulky men pulled Little Stutterer to the corner. Who said we're going to drink? Head captain, don't talk nonsense. Why you guys just said it, Little Stutterer said. No, we didn't. We're clearly going to diligently practice right now. A certain bodyguard corrected him self-righteously. Right, you heard us wrong. The others chimed in. Damn, letting Miss Wanwan drink, is he asking for a beating? That wouldn't be a celebration. That'd be hell, alright? Is our newly appointed head captain a little brainless? We were almost beaten to death that time. Why would you make a suggestion like that? The bodyguards trembled as they looked in Yi Wanwan's direction. Miss Wanwan, we're going for practice right now. You should head back early to rest. Right. As if we're going to drink. After watching Miss Wanwan's amazing fight, we can't possibly still have the nerve to drink, right? Practice. Let's go. The group of people quickly dragged Little Stutterer and ran away the moment they were done talking. Even the injured 11 was unusually agile. Yi Wanwan stood there and didn't even have a chance to speak. Hey, what the? Why did they get so scared when I was invited to drink? I wasn't planning on going anyway. I have a date tonight. Yi Wanwan didn't bother with those strange guys. She cheerfully headed back and got changed. In the blink of an eye, half the time dedicated to curing Si Yi Han she agreed upon with the Si family's elders had passed. During this period, Si Yi Han's condition varied. It was sometimes good and sometimes bad. But Yi Wanwan was still worried and didn't dare to let her guard down. Also, there was another issue that was a bigger headache. Previously, to convince her parents that she had really gotten over Gu Yuze, she told them she had a boyfriend. In order to put them at ease, she lied and said her boyfriend was very ugly and extremely ordinary. Now, her parents asked about her relationship every few days and dropped hints that they wanted to meet him soon. They even said they wouldn't mind if he was ugly. Yi Wanwan was simply on the verge of breaking down. Even though Si Yi-han already agreed to it, the prospect of him meeting her parents was quite unpleasant, and with his current condition, she didn't dare to provoke him. Yi Wanwan was in the middle of picking out her outfit while having a big headache over this dilemma when suddenly, her phone rang. Yi Wanwan trembled when she saw the caller ID. "I'm dead. Speak of the devil, Mom is calling." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.